good afternoon, good evening. The Thursday night forum is in session. How's everybody doing? Stan said there's nobody here with us. We got 3 people watching right now, so name yourselves, introduce yourselves. Come on in, pull up a chair. You're all welcome. Arsenal fan circle here. BX.
Maybe it's us 3.
Wait.
Or 4 now.
4. I certainly do that as well, so I can keep a monitor of the chat box. Although my season review is coming up of my ability to maintain pace with the chat, and it's probably a very low score. You know, Gary might mark me down very harshly on that in that respect. But anyway, how are we doing? BX Gunner, Gary, Stan, Lawrence, thanks for being here. Come on, let's have some happy faces in here. Lawrence, we played well this season.
Yeah.
We improved.
Yeah, but how many trophies did we win? And don't count the Community Shield or the Emirates Cup.
Look,
how many trophies?
I'm going to get lambasted for saying this coming season has to be the season where we win a trophy. I said that last year.
Me too.
But we're going to go through the squad tonight. We're going to go through the squad tonight and identify and look at the state of our squad, and we're going to see what shape we're in. And there's a lot of players in that squad that, we need to move on.
So basically, when we go through the squad, what we're going to be doing is we're going to say whether we will keep, bench, or sell that player.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's what that's how we're going to decide on these guys, whether we keep them, whether they're for the bench, or whether they need to be sold.
Right. And we did this a few weeks ago, very informally, but as the weeks go on, Gary, we'll be informed more and more about the entire intentions of Arsenal.
Yep. Hello, Ray. Hello, Stan.
Okay.
Hello,
Lawrence.
Yes, Lawrence.
Yeah.
Chop liver.
Yeah, that's my name.
He's chop liver. Right, Lawrence.
At least it's not Tony. Thank you, lucky star.
See, that's why. You know what? That's why I hesitated. I was like, has he even said anything bad about me yet? But you're gonna start bringing up all these bad words. The words I don't like to hear.
I do hope you're not having chopped liver for supper tonight, Lawrence.
Yeah, there. And BX Gunner and Steven, welcome to the show. And everybody else in the chat. Hello.
Hello. Lawrence, what's on the menu tonight? Do we know?
I've had my dinner. I don't know. Okay, yeah.
All right. What was it?
It was barbecue ribs and rice.
Nice. That's not bad.
I should have sent you a picture.
Yeah. Hey, Lawrence, are we in a Premier League farmer? Is it a Farmers League? Is the Premier League a Farmers League?
I don't know. I mean, it looks like it because City keep winning the title. And it's not a case of City actually winning it. It's a case of us gift wrapping it to them. Because this is now 2 seasons on the trot. We've blown a lead away at the top of the table. So I don't know where we go from here. I mean, well, obviously we've got to win it next year, but we've got to strengthen. It's no good just bringing in maybe 3 or 4 players. We've got to bring in maybe 6 or 7 players now for cover, because the squad is not strong enough. Even though we've got quality players, it's not strong enough to compete with City. And this is what I said last summer, that we needed to bring in 6 quality signings, which we failed to do. And it's now down to Edu and Arteta to bring in the necessary cover so that we can attack all 4 competitions that we're going to be in next season. We cannot be sacrificing domestic cup competitions like we've done for the last couple of years. You know, we cannot be blowing leads at the top of the table like we've done the last couple of years. We've got to show City that we mean business, and we're going to give them, you know, a real battle for that number one spot. You know, granted, we took them all the way this year, but it wasn't enough.
Mhm.
You know, there were several issues that cost us the title. We all know what they were. I'm not going to repeat myself.
Yeah.
But as I said, at the end of the day, you're judged by the trophies you win. And for me, we failed because we didn't win anything at the end of the season. So people can keep going on about, oh, we had a fantastic year and we took it to the last game. But at the end of the day, you're judged by the trophies that you win.
Yeah.
And we didn't win anything again.
So it does. I will say you're judged in the era that you're playing in, and you know, I think it's well documented. If this was the 1990s up against Alex Ferguson, we would have won. You know, the last two seasons we would have won the title based off of those points finishes. But and Bargav says absolute facts to what Lawrence said. But the standard right now is Manchester City stand. The standard is Manchester City stand.
See, I don't agree with anything there that Lawrence said. No offense, Lawrence, I just don't agree with it. I mean, I look at it this way.
You're entitled to your opinion.
There's 4 sort of trophies that are up for grabs, right? How many teams are there in the Premier League? Was it 18?
20.
20.
20.
Okay, 20 teams. There are people that are supporting teams in the Premier League that haven't even seen their teams get to finals. You know, that's how it is, right? You know, the last time Newcastle won a league, I think my great-grandfather was playing for them. So for me, it's about improvement. It's about getting to be able to be in that conversation. And we are now definitely in the conversation to be able to win league titles. I mean, 89 points, man. 89 points any other time wins you the title. It just so happens that the team that we're up against, they've had a helping hand. They've had 115 helping hands, allegedly. Yeah. And as good as the manager is and as good as the player is, if some of these charges turn out to be correct, then that means that they've had access to resources that other people haven't been able to get access to, which has put them in the position to continually win the league. But you asked, the original question was, is the league turning into a farmers league? Well, you could say that about a lot of leagues. Outside of Barcelona and Real Madrid, who's really in contention for La Liga? In the SPL, who other than Celtic and Rangers are in contention to win that league? So you always have a couple of teams in PSG in France, Italy as well. It's usually the same, maybe 2 or 3 teams that have an opportunity.
Harry Kane. Mention Harry Kane.
Bayern Munich. They usually do well in Germany, except for when they signed Harry Kane and Eric Dyer. But we are getting into that conversation. So for me, we didn't win any tangible trophies this season, but the improvement for me is magnificent, because I really enjoyed last season. At the end of last season, I thought to myself, how does it get, obviously, other than winning the league, how does it get any better than this, improving? I mean, some of the numbers that our players had and some of the games that we played, this is probably the best season I have seen since we last won the league. Yeah. And then we pull out this season, which was better.
Yeah,
so,
Stan asks. Yeah,
I'm in it to win it. I'm just saying I'm in it to win it, and I have expectations. But I still think, even though we didn't win any tangible trophies, we've earned a lot of money to go out there and strengthen this squad to put ourselves in contention. And just one last point, I could quite understand why we use the Carabao Cup to play second-string players and academy players, and I'd like to see more academy players, because the money's just not there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $1.5 million for winning the Carabao Cup. It's like 70 to 90 million for getting to the stage that we did in the Champions League, and that, for me, shows you the difference between us and Tottenham, because they blew a Champions League spot and they were happy about it, apparently. But how do you get money to improve your squad to keep up with us if they're not going to be in that conversation? So that's me.
Yeah, there's quite a few things there. Stan said he wanted this season to be better than last season. and it was better than last season, but we didn't get to the summit of the league. What else
Can I
is
just answer?
there?
Can I just answer? But Bargrave said he said it's not our problem. We can't be watching
Yeah.
through the lens of a small club. What
Yeah.
I'm saying is, we should be grateful for where we are compared to a lot of other teams.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm getting at? At least we're getting into that conversation now. We are
Yeah.
contenders, heavy contenders.
Definitely. I want to go to Gary because Stan and I, we did the watch along on Sunday, the last game of the season, and Gary, you did one also. But I'm speaking personally. Manchester City just never put anything in jeopardy. You just don't feel like they're going to drop anything. So I didn't have huge nerves going into Sunday, knowing who Man City were and what they were going to do, most likely. The odds were heavily stacked in their favor because of what Lawrence said we did not do and what other teams did not do against them. I'm thinking about Son against Man City as well, and that miss. So, Gary, what was your feelings? Answer the Premier League, Premier Farmers League question, and what was your feelings on Sunday about the watch along?
So Farmers League means what, one team that pretty much dominates? Is that typically the simple answer?
Pretty much, yeah.
So City pretty much has done that. As far as the Premier League and the domestic cups are concerned, they pretty much win multiple of those every year, it seems. Right? Last year they won two domestic cups or a trophy.
Did they win?
Right?
Did they win the quadruple? Did they win everything?
The treble.
Just the treble. Yeah.
United got the other one.
But yeah, no. So if that's what it is, and I guess also it has to be over a length of time. I don't think we've hit the length of time yet for it to be considered a Farmers League. I don't think 7 years is basically where you kind of like a lot. So it's not yet, but it's on its way. It's like, is it a dynasty? It is now, right? They've won 3 in a row, and now they won 4 in a row. So that's considered a dynasty over here in the States. So yeah, they're running the league right now, and even on what we've considered a down year for them, they're still able to power through, and that's the difference between them and pretty much every other team. They can answer the call even when they're struggling, whatever they call it, they're struggling. So yeah, no, I don't think it's Farmers League yet, but it's trending that way unless something changes. Maybe they lose, they get some points taken away from them or something like that. But otherwise, right now they're going to keep going. I mean, all their players have nothing to do with the Chargers, right? But the acquisition of them is where it comes down, right? So
yeah,
the players are playing, they're winning it, with a football. But we'll see how that all plans out. But yeah, no, I think it's not a Farmers League yet, but it's trending that way for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, they've gone from what, people have said, how many leagues down were there at one point to where they are now, sitting top of the world, right? So that is a a challenge in itself.
Because in their reign, there's only been one team that's ever threatened to give them any trouble, and that's Liverpool. And I think we have now taken that place. I think we are now that team. How many? They won 1 in 6, didn't they, Liverpool? So what are we going to get? We need to somehow surpass that, right? We need to do better than that.
So I just want to correct that narrative for 1 second. Just correct that narrative for 1 second. Liverpool have come second to City only twice in the league in title races. Only twice. They've won it once. So in 3 years, it's either been City or Liverpool. Within those 3 years, the Liverpool have been. Man United come second.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. So
can I? Where's your Arnie Slot shirt?
Gary. What's that, Lawrence?
Said, where's your Arnie Slot shirt?
I'm getting it. It's on order. It's on back order. There's so many. They're flying off the shelves, Lawrence. They're going to be so much better next year.
The old Arnie Slot lunchbox and thermos flask.
He's going to be much better than Jurgen Klopp ever was. You know what I mean? Gary, have you still got that thought in your mind?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, going into that last game, putting your hope into others never works for Arsenal,
Right.
right? It's like
Never.
we're not going to
Yeah,
get
never.
any help
No.
from anybody,
one
anyhow,
likes us.
anyway, right? And you know what? When I want to do it next year as well, but I did how I saw this season go, what I considered a successful season for us, and I'll probably do a video about that. But I didn't have a win was a bonus for me because I kind of some people say keeping it real. I think keeping it real is can Arsenal go from where they were before Arteta got here to just going out there and be able to consistently win trophies every season the way we've set up our team? Not yet. We've seen why we can't do that, and we talk about domestic cups and not how we don't challenge in those. The reason why I think we need to challenge in every front that we are, we're battling in, is because we're going to need those players that are competitive, hopefully, in the domestic cups in the Premier League or the Champions League, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the reason why City is able to make it the way they have is like they've lost how many players have been out, right? I know that they're
Kevin De Bruyne was left with
I know they have strength and depth, but
Rodri
they have
was out
players.
for a bit, wasn't he?
They've had players that can fill
Haaland
in
was out
spots
for a
for
bit.
them. Arteta
Yeah.
has no answers, not enough
Exactly.
answers.
That's the difference.
Not enough
That's the key
answers.
difference.
Not enough.
And
Not
they don't
enough
have to be.
resources.
They don't have to be De Bruyne's. They
Yeah.
don't have to be Alvarez's for us because that's not. We don't need that because we've played good enough, and we've been lucky enough, right? We've been lucky in terms of our health.
Lucky is the word.
Next
isn't it?
year,
We can't ride that luck
next
forever.
year we can't guarantee that. Guess what? Our center back pairing will last for the entire. Like we could have had the same center back pairing for the entire season if as you say, Gabriel's head was turned. If it wasn't turned, he would have
Didn't
played.
Saliba play every game?
Saliba played. He played every minute of the season. Every minute he didn't.
Mad, isn't it?
Like Gabriel
Yeah.
started many
Also
games,
good.
but he actually came out in some cases, right?
When
So I think we got lucky in that sense. That's why depth is key.
Can I ask
And
a question there?
think
So
about-
with
think about-
Gabriel Megalegs, Gary, other than the times when he was left out for that in the beginning of the season, did he play every game as well?
He played every
Well,
game he was available for
wow.
outside of those first two, I think. So
Don't sell those two.
Garrett, Stanley played 36 matches.
yeah.
That's
Missed,
So-
missed those two.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
missed those two.
resilience. Resilience.
So-
And
Right.
I think we can't be that lucky going forward. Sorry to just finish off here. I don't think we can be that lucky. So we need to create our own answers because the luck may dry out and we're going to need answers. Like for me, we need more Trossards and we need we need a couple of defenders for me.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to get, I think it's lucky that we got this way. Because think about it. If we had lost Erdegaard, we have nobody behind him. And guess
would've
who
been
lost?
tricky.
Guess who
Yeah.
lost their Erdegaard? City, right? We
Yeah.
can't lose Rice, right? And guess who lost their Rice? City, right? Both players were out. You saw the dip when Rodri's out. They're
I
basically
even lost Haaland.
they come
We
back
don't
to
have a
earth
Haaland.
when Rodri's out.
We
Erdegaard,
don't have
sorry,
one.
Right.
KDB, KDB they can still manage, but
Yeah.
Rodri is they're basically, as you said, like the engine, the linchpin, the
Linchpin,
everything. So sorry about that, Lawrence,
No.
but yeah, that's kind of my
Sorry.
thoughts.
Yeah, I just wanted to chip in. I don't know if any of you saw this, but apparently the bookmakers have slashed Manchester City's odds of getting relegated next season to 25 to 1.
Yep.
While Arsenal are 2,000 to 1.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you?
They are protecting themselves against the ruling where the Premier League are seen to they must address this issue. But I don't really have a strong conviction. I would love to be convinced otherwise that the Premier League will do something. And what's his name?
Wait, can I just say that? Why would the Premier League have brought it up and created the case in the first place? Not just to let them off. Why could I do it? Not do
I know.
nothing. Do nothing. That's what I'm getting
And
at.
they've-
Maybe
But
it's
they've
safe
let
to say
you.
that they're going through it with a fine-tooth comb. They want to make sure that when they come with their court case, it's ironclad.
But you know what?
Why
They don't
would they bring
they
the
don't even
charges
have to do that,
to let them
Stan.
go?
Stan, they don't even
Yeah.
have to do that. Think about what some of the charges are. Are they things that they have to go to court for?
I don't know.
They've asked for like documentation that has not been presented in a timely fashion. You don't need to go to court to figure out if you've done that or not. That's the charge.
It didn't happen.
They,
Yeah.
they never
They didn't
provided
do-
it in time, right?
Yeah.
They have stalled, and you know what? For me, that's in bad taste. If that's how the league wanted to punish them for, look, you don't want to play ball with us. How in the world do we can't come to an agreement? And we this is our league. It's not your league, right?
Yeah.
It's not City's
Yeah.
league. City can't say, well, why are you punishing us? You know
They
what?
wouldn't
When you don't want
bring
to
charges
cooperate,
against
guess
them.
what? You get punished, right?
It's
You wouldn't
not- but
create
it's-
a case against someone just to let them off. It doesn't make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to.
But-
You want to. You know.
as Gary's saying, it's like the referees checking the boots on each player, and the Man City players have huge spikes that are going to be dangerous to the opponent, but they've
But
let
if-
them cross the line onto the field and
No,
play.
no. Guess what? Their boots are covered in mud, and they're like, "Can you clear the mud?" And they're like, "No,
No.
no." I'm
Oh,
not
go
clearing the
ahead.
mud."
Well, go ahead. Start play. We'll
But
investigate.
then
this later.
when they stud
Yeah.
somebody and they slice open their leg, they're like, "I don't know.
All right. Part of me calling out Liverpool only challenging 3 times City. The narrative is that Klopp, he did compete with City for 8 seasons, but primarily 3 of those were in the league. The rest of the time, he did go and compete in cup competitions and Champions League. So, yeah, Liverpool's my specialist topic. It is indeed. I know all about Liverpool. I am glad that we
You
have.
know too much about Liverpool for my.
I am glad that we have beaten Klopp, though. I'm glad that we have beaten Klopp for 2 seasons here. So Liverpool fans can't say we only came to prominence because Klopp left. You know what I mean? So, and what's interesting is when Liverpool's challenge did not come, they sustained injuries, season-long injuries to Van Dijk. And we just talked about Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes playing
Brilliant.
for the majority of the season.
I just saw
Love it.
Lolo in the chat. For those who have ever been on the happy hour,
Mm-hmm.
had a sad thing happened today.
Oh, jeez.
Bandy, for those who know, on the show,
Who?
he's passed away. Bandy.
Okay.
I've seen him in the
passed away.
chat box. Yeah, I've seen
He
him in the
passed-
chat box.
he passed away over, I think, in the last day or so. So yeah, they've lost one of their own essentially. But yeah, heart goes out to
That
his
is-
wife, who's got to deal with that.
Yeah, listen, that's a horrible thing
Bad
when you
news.
do podcasts together, and you take it for granted you're going to see each other each and every 3 days or every week.
Yeah.
And then one of us do not turn up, one of us in the chat box and not there. That's the reason. I've not heard from Mahir in 6 months, 9 months. So I'm worried about that. So yeah,
He's probably on a covert mission behind enemy lines. No communication.
We-
Come
we
on,
hope so. I think he was bringing Granit Xhaka. Last I heard, he was bringing Granit Xhaka to Germany. Personally, but Granit Xhaka has done his job over in Germany, taking care of Harry Kane. But yeah, that's horrible. Rest in peace, Bandy,
Very sad.
and the people
Yeah.
in the scoop
Did
as well.
did you watch the Europa League final yesterday?
So I did not. I saw the XG was some crazy numbers where Atlanta took their chances.
Yeah. I mean, Granit Xhaka played for Leverkusen, and guess who was playing for Atalanta?
Lukman.
Kolasinac. Kolasinac.
Yeah, indeed.
And-
So
And they had a player there called Adam. I can't pronounce the name. Adamola Lukman. He got a
Lookman.
Oh,
hat trick,
Lookman.
Lookman.
Yeah, I heard about that.
and he's from South London. He played for Charlton and Everton and Leicester. He didn't make it, but boy, did he play yesterday! All of his goals were out of this world.
pretty good ones, yeah. And against
Yeah.
that Bayer Leverkusen team who have been unbeaten for pretty much the whole season. You know,
That's their first
Yeah.
loss.
And look, Granit Xhaka, I think, has had a good influence on that team. They still have a German Cup to play on the weekend, so he's got to steady the ship there and bring that home for them. We'll see what happens with Xavi Alonso and his career moving forward. A new up and coming coach manager. We'll see what happens. Margav said the challenge for the summer is simple: world-class signings to win the Champions League. I'm talking about players who can take the burden away from Saliba, mega legs, Rice in midfield, Odegaard. You know, the prime.
Maybe
members of
Saliba
our
doesn't need the burden taken away from him because he looked good all the way from the beginning to the end, didn't he?
It's smooth, very
Do you know what I mean?
Indeed.
You know, if he's able to play, you know, if he's not, you know, in the red, as Arsene Wenger used to say, then you keep playing him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's like world class. I get it, but I think we need some of those some players also that can play outside the box. Meaning, Arteta has a structure that he wants to play in, but a lot of times that doesn't work, right? Because other teams got an answer for it, and he needs an answer either on the bench or in a starting lineup that doesn't adhere to, like, you know, staying within the lines, because we need somebody who can make something out of nothing, right? You don't have that, right?
Yeah. A Mark Overmars.
We don't have that guaranteed guy that gonna break away and stuff like that and make his own, you know, score his own goal from the halfway line kind of thing. We don't have one of those, and we need
Limpar.
I feel like we need one of those as well. I think I've heard many people say it, and I definitely believe that we can play when everything's like, you know, when everything's just right. Yeah. But when things come off the, you know, if we're having a bad day, say, for example, we're not clinical, or say, for example, we make a mistake and give away a goal. All right.
Yeah.
We need somebody that's going to have to answer the call. Like, I think we have those players, but they're not standing up yet. Right. I think, you know, for me, I want Erdegaard to stand up. And, I mean, he did well this season, but I just feel like sometimes I need him to score.
6 gamble.
I need him to score. You know what I mean? Because I believe he's one of our best strikers of the ball when it comes down to it. And he has the ball at his feet many a time.
Yeah.
And he needs to answer, you know, like the team needs somebody to stand up.
Right.
I think it could be him.
Right. Well, that's probably the cue to get into the squad, and we'll go pretty quickly and steadfastly through the squad. Goalkeeper to striker, and we'll talk about everything in between. Get through a couple of quick comments, then we'll jump into it. BX said, "Am I gutted? We missed out by one win. Yes, but I'm also extremely, tremendously proud of the team. Absolutely, yes. When you think about it, it's a kick of a ball one way or the other. That's what it was. 2 points, indeed. We were one win away from beating City. Against City, it always seems to be the other team saying we're one win away, we're this, that. I do believe Pep is like the jockey on a horse who knows he's got the best horse in the field, and he just powers the horse down before the finish line, makes it look like a contest in some respects. We're one win away from beating City, and people say Arteta's shit, which I don't understand. Look, until you do it, and they're not going to give Arteta the flowers until he does it, until the Arsenal team do it. They reduce the odds. So,
and we took 4 points. We took 4 points off them this season.
Yeah, that's the maddening thing about it as well. We were not consistent against the other teams, you know.
As much as people want to say the Villa was the loss, the first half of you know what? I've said it multiple times. We started fast last season, finished weak. This year we started slow, finished strong. Guess what? No, you have to play all 38 games the same way. That's the difference. You had Arteta tried to bed his players into some style. No, they needed to hit the road running from game one all the way through to 38. And I think, you know, trying to figure out where to put Kai Havertz, I think, hurt us a little bit.
Yeah, let's get through the squad, and then we'll have an overview of what the season was. So who wants to start off with David Raya?
So you're saying keep, bench, or sell? For me, keep.
Yep. Definitely keep, right?
Golden Glove winner, save 2 penalties. I like that.
Exactly. Boyce, welcome, Boise as well. Yeah, look, 32 matches, 28 years old. And what's striking is a lot of these players are going to start coming into their prime, and some of them are in their prime right now. So David Raya, $3 million. We'll pick up the option when we get some money to finish that deal. Yeah.
I read that Steve Round left Arsenal because he told Arteta not to get Raya.
I heard about
Okay,
that.
so
That's
listen.
why he left it.
Yeah,
I heard about that.
I think that's a good topic to talk about at the end of going through the squad, right?
Okay.
No, definitely, it's a good one. And I've got my viewpoints on that one as well. Ramsdale, okay. We have to sell Ramsdale, Gary, right?
Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Would we rather have a better goalkeeper or the same that we've had the last 3 seasons? I'm not saying we should sell, but I'm just like, is there a goalkeeper out there that actually is better than what we have right now? If there is, we should go get that goalkeeper. All right, because we haven't. Well, we've made Ramsdale and Raya both have their cons, all right, and they have their pros, and both of their pros hurt us. So pick and choose which one you want. We've seen it in the last 2 seasons from our goalkeepers. They can essentially put a lot of pressure on us. So, I mean, I didn't think we needed to get a goalkeeper when we let Leno go. I didn't think we needed to get a goalkeeper when we brought Raya in. So we keep changing goalkeepers, and guess what? We're not going out there and getting. We need to get like a Rice level goalkeeper with the amount of changes we've had. You know what I mean? We've had 6 goalkeepers in 5 years, right?
Yeah.
It's too.
What's going on?
I know everybody's just leaving us and stuff like that.
Well, I think we've sold Ray.
I just started rambling. I guess everybody had to leave, huh? So,
yeah, you've got that.
No, like I said, I didn't think we needed to get a goalkeeper. Now we're in a pickle, right? Because now we want it. Now either we keep Ramsdale, who's been off for a season basically, or we tried to sell Ramsdale, and guess what? Are we going to get anywhere near the money we're going to buy, Raya for? People say that nobody's going to want to do that, but he is a goalkeeper that can get you Champions League, right? What do teams want? They want a goalkeeper that can move them up the table. He's shown he can do that, right?
Yeah, he's not going to be happy with the. He's not going to be happy with the spot on the bench. I mean, I do like him, and I just think he's been unlucky, with what happened. It wasn't his fault.
There's no real debate.
But he's got to be playing first team football because he wants to play for England, and he's not going to get there if he's second string.
I just don't think there's any debate because we've all said that we want to keep Raya, and as good as a goalkeeper Ramsdale is, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to go for another season like the season he just went through.
It's not like he's been.
It's not like he's been. Okay, but it's not like he's been rotated in even. It's basically like unless David Raya is dying, you're not going to get a game, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Think about this. Think about this. What did we just see? We saw Ellison come out, and we saw Ortega come in. And what did Ortega do? He basically kept West Ham out of the goal. Luckily,
that's what we need. Isn't it? We need to find a backup keeper like an Ortega. That's what we need. But it can't be Ramsdale. Ramsdale's not going to be happy going for another season, so we need to get as much as we can for him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious we're not going to sell Raya, after one season. So.
Yeah, so it's a little tough whether we're saying if it's our opinion we should sell him or bench him, but honestly, Ramsdale, the player, is going to want to move and play, right? So you probably already discussed that
Yeah.
Move on to the next one.
Yep.
Get off that Ramsdale touchy subject of where we had all those podcasts with his father on there. You know what I mean? That's not correct.
I'm looking at your list. If you're going down your list,
Yeah.
Yes.
the next
Gabriel.
four, it's like, do we have to really chat about these?
No. Gabriel Magalhaes. We can throw him some flowers, though. Gabriel Magalhaes, a warrior this season, 26 years old. So I was looking at the age profiles as well of the squad. 26 years old in his prime, coming into the best years of his life. And yes, there was that situation. It happened the first 2 games of the season, and we had to move some pieces around. I never really understood the thing about players' heads getting turned. They're professionals. They should be they can park something and play a football game for 100 minutes. But 4 goals, 4 vital goals, and Lawrence is very disappointed he didn't have that goal against Bournemouth on the run-in as well. That would have been a screamer. But what a player, Gabriel Magalhaes. Sometimes Saliba.
We can just
Looks
basically
better than
do
him.
those now as the 2, right? We're not selling either one of them. And for me,
No.
sorry
No.
to butt in there, sorry, but for me, they
No.
are probably, as a pairing, why would
Yeah.
we want to sell either one?
We're
They
not
seem to have
selling
an
our starting
understanding.
back
They
line right
complement.
now.
Oh, I love them.
That's
I
the
love
thing.
No, but-
We're not selling our starting back line right now.
All right. I get the feeling
Oh,
Gary wants
well.
to move it along, so we'll definitely
Gary's right.
do that.
Now think about it.
He's right.
Magalhaes, Saliba,
He's right.
White, and
It's true.
Tomiyasu. We're not selling them. So
He's right.
anybody have any question? I mean,
It's
anybody?
not-
No.
Not at all.
No
Ben
argument.
White, no more England duty. 4 goals and 4 assists from Ben
Tony's
White.
not here, so we can move on.
You know what? I was going to mention Tony. This should be a podcast about this season that we just had, not anything before that. And
This is
and,
outside his wheelhouse. This is outside
Yeah,
the box. We're talking about
He
what
needs
just
to
happened
get
in the
some
last
more
10
crayons.
outside his
He
wheelchair.
needs to get some more crayons.
Mm.
Yeah. So I get the feeling we're trying to do this podcast before Tony joins us. Is that what we're trying to do?
No, I just like what can we say that we haven't said already about
Turn
He
off
is
the
our
light.
incoming, you know that,
our
right?
starting
You know
back
he's
line,
incoming. So
Yeah.
Turn off the lights, close the door. Hope he's not going to come in.
Here's
It's like
one thing.
It's
to
like
say.
when the
Here's-
Jehovah's Witnesses ring your doorbell.
Yeah.
And it's
Here's,
easy, Dan.
here's what you look through the window and you're like, I hope they didn't see me, and then you close it back and then you run upstairs. Right? No, what I was gonna say is on our back line right now, Saliba is on the cusp of world class status, right? If we
Yeah.
have anybody, he's one of the one of
Mhm.
the prime players that everybody should be looking at. I think him and I think Margolis more older. Basically, the 2 of them creating a world class tandem right there. I don't know how many teams have 2 center backs like that in the world, much less in the Premier League. So
They complement
everybody has
each other
one.
so well.
they have like Liverpool has Van Dijk, but they don't have
Yeah,
stand-up
there's something
player
missing.
next to him.
Yeah.
Like,
No comparison. No comparison. People will try to push that narrative. Okay,
Do you know,
White.
hang on, can I just say, do you know what it's the equivalent of? Having both Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes together at the same time. It's almost like when we had Bergkamp and Henry at the same time. Usually you just have one. You would have one. Do you know what I mean? We had 2.
Yeah.
We had both of them. And it's like that with our centre-backs. Like Gary said, usually you've got one and they're rotating someone in and out to complement that guy, and we are set there. In fact,
Right.
as Gary said, the whole back four.
Just going back to this,
Right.
Stephen could do without David Raya. Just saying.
You could even say
No,
Timber in there. Throw Timber in as
yeah.
well.
On the Raya front, sorry, Lawrence. On the Raya front, I go at it with Ryan every week when I do a watch along because he's like, Raya's made another mistake, and I'm like, nah. And then like this last week, the one mistake he made on the it was an own goal, but he still made a mistake on it.
Yeah.
Because even though it wasn't his fault, the goal went in. You
Huh.
see, he still made a mistake because if the ball cleared the wall, he would have just been standing there just watching it go in, basically, because he
Okay.
was so late on on his movement. So, yeah, like I said, I think there's negatives on both sides of the goalkeepers we've got. I don't know. We'll find out if next year when Ramsdale's gone, whether or not Raya can make up for anything that he's done poorly this year. Sorry,
Shout-
Lawrence. Yeah.
Shout out to Tiger and Gunner. He saw the women's training in Melbourne last night. Lawrence, yes.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, what you're asking us about selling or keeping the back five.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminds me of Seaman, Dixon, Adams, Keown, and Winterburn. You just
Yeah.
couldn't
And
sell
Bowles.
any of them.
Don't forget David O'Leary,
And Bowles. David
David
O'Leary,
O'Leary.
yeah, well,
legend, record appearance holder.
Yeah.
David O'Leary.
So going into the new season, if everybody gets rested up from Euros and whatever else is going on in the air, when we
Yeah.
start day one, nobody's scoring on us,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Tomiyasu isn't practicing, so he should be fresh and ready to go, right? He doesn't have games, right? I don't think he has games.
Uh-huh.
What a
and
goal
White-
from
White
Tamiya.
doesn't have games, and
Yeah.
the Saliba and Margules, and Margules I think comes off the bench, and Saliba comes off the bench. Margules may not even
What
go,
about-
right? He
what-
hurt his shoulder, right? So
you would probably
about
look-
Timber?
Yeah, we'll
What
talk
about
about
Timber?
Timber. We'll talk about Timber. You would think Saliba's ready to break into this French squad as well, a French team. I don't know the
not according to his manager, right?
they
Manager
shot-
doesn't even know he
he's
exists.
mad.
Like
He's
he's
mad.
like I don't. He's like I can't see Saliba.
That's madness. All right, Lawrence, Yuri and Timber. Listen, if injuries hurt a team, we had an injury. We didn't really talk about it, but we had a season-long injury with Yuri and Timber. Lawrence.
Yeah.
We don't
I
even
know.
know what we got
Some-
really. Maybe.
Good job.
Someday-
Phoenix.
Sunday showed what we missed because I thought he was excellent when he came on.
Yeah.
And I just pray that, he has a full season next year with us.
Yes. Yes.
For me, quickly, if the question is keep, buy or sell, then you need to ask me at the end of next season because I've not seen him.
All
He
right.
gets a free pass.
Well,
you know?
He's
like
a new
he's-
signing.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just joined the club basically. We ain't seen
Like
him.
it.
I'm keeping Timber. It's like I
Like a
didn't
new
see much.
signing.
It's like I didn't see much of Partey, but
Alright.
I know what we got in him.
First controversial figure, Zinchenko next.
Did we do?
Sell.
Like, are you skipping? Are you skipping over?
Sell.
Do you want to?
Definite.
We can't. We're gonna skip. We can't skip
Okay.
over him, right?
All right, Zinchenko.
We have to talk.
Zinchenko's gone.
Sell. Definitely kick out. No
Right.
use to us.
We could get some decent coin back. Maybe recoup what we spent on him. I think we've mentioned this many times that we're outgrowing the players that we've used to get to the position we're in. We're outgrowing those players. It's been a very fast transition when you think about it, going from 8th to 5th to 2nd.
Did you
And
see that
another second.
Zinchenko put a message out on X, basically saying,
Yeah.
to the fans that
I'll be better.
Basically, and I've had a shit season, but I'll be better next time. Love like that. Don't work like
I'll
that, Arsenal, mate. Don't work like that. Do you know what I mean? Them days are gone. You
Yeah.
have to do it on the day, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Would
had your
you be
chance.
willing? Would you be willing to look at Zinchenko in midfield if he was never to play left back again?
I
would you
wouldn't
be
be willing
willing-
to look at Zinchenko full stop. Whether I don't
Okay.
care where he is.
All right.
I just don't
Move
want to
on.
look at him.
No,
All right.
You know what? We are like, and also you have to remember we're looking at. He'll be 20. We turn in 28. All right, this season.
Yeah.
So for me, I think our 27 and up or 26 and up players need to look like either Margules
Right.
or they need to look like Trossard or they need to look like Jorginho.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the three players over 26 and over. That's what they need to look
Right.
like. If you think about, we'll get Zinchenko, Partey, and Jesus, right? They're in that 26 and up, and we know, we'll talk about them. But in general, we can't hold on to players over 26 that we know they don't answer the questions. Oh crap!
Imminent arrival has arrived.
Sorry,
He's arrived
Bob.
at the gate.
I just saw something in the back.
Bye.
All gates are
I just-
closed. The
What's
flight's about to take off without him.
Yes, close the door. Let's go, Captain. Let him. He's banging on the door.
It's
No,
like when you just drive past the
Oh,
bus stop.
God, take
it's like Mission Impossible when
You just drove
when he's
past that
hanging
bus
on
stop.
the he's hanging on the door, trying to say "Let me in," and they're like,
There'll be another
"Open
one
up
along.
the door," and he's like, "The other door." That's Tony.
There's another
banging
one
on
of
the
them.
door.
It's crazy how many of those stunts that Tom Cruise will actually do instead of having a stunt person.
All right,
You're fucking
Tony.
really hanging off a plane. It's like
There we go.
you're worth
Maybe.
like hundreds of millions of dollars, and you
Right,
hanging off
Tony.
planes.
Welcome to the show, Tony. Any history will be 9 or 10 months. That's your cutoff point. Your history can only be 9 or 10 months.
Tell
You
him what we're
can't
doing.
go
Tell him what we're actually
36
doing.
months. Tell him what
Bring
we're
him up
doing. Do you
Yeah,
think it'll
bring him up
sink
to
in,
speed.
Stan? Do you think it'll
Gonna-
sink in?
Gonna have to.
We're going through the squad. We're doing a squad review. Keep, sell, bench. Okay. Now,
Can I just say
Next-
before you move on from
Yeah.
Alexander Zinchenko, I just think it's
Yeah.
very telling when you criticise his defensive work and people will tell you, but he's a midfielder. When has he ever been played in midfield? When has Mikel Arteta ever picked him to play in the midfield, no matter what was
not
going
in
on,
Arsenal.
how short we
Yeah.
looked, the problems at left back? He never did it because he knows
2
he's not good
seasons.
enough. So I'll just
Yeah.
leave that there.
All right. Gary mentioned the age of Zinchenko at 27. You are looking for players who would lead you, players who puff their chest out. This next player, I read today, Matthew Upson at West Ham was teaching him, even if you're being beaten on the field, the body language is very important. Declan Rice took that on board and moved forward with it. So Declan Rice obviously keep one of the key parts, probably for me the best player, the player of our season. So many occasions he stopped goals going in, and he chipped in with a few goals as well. 38 games played, so he played in every game. 7 goals and 8 assists, so he pretty much assumed that left 8 position that Granit Xhaka took, left 7 goals and 7 assists, pretty much matched up there. So, Gary, what do you say about Declan Rice?
Yeah, he's staying. He's our starter picket, as you said, either the left 8 or the 6, depending on what we need. Whatever we can get, and it needs to be close to the levels. All right. You talk about
Mhm.
levels. I talk about levels all the time. If we're going to bring somebody into the midfield, it's got to be somebody who is not a big drop off from what we have with Erdogan and Rice. Pick one of the spots. Either one. We're gonna have to. We'll make do. If we get a really good 8, and Rice can work on his defensive, stuff. If we get a
It
really
might
good
be a
6,
6.
yeah.
You might get Bruno Gamaz for 90 million instead
Yeah.
of 30.
No, well, like I said, it needs to
You
be
could
at that
buy him
level.
for.
Needs to be at that level. So Rice is staying. We'll pick a spot for him based on what we bring in.
Tony is saying prayers in every religion right now. He's saying prayers in every religion on the face of the earth that Arsenal will target Bruno Guimaraes. Even when he played against Arsenal, he stuck up for Bruno. So, Tony,
You know what? Wouldn't you want a Rodri? And we know we don't like Rodri because he does some of the same stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Right? They're both donkeys, as I like to say. You just want him to be a donkey in red from North London.
I like you,
Will-
Gary.
The eye of the tiger, right? Does he have the eye of the tiger, Gary?
I don't know what that means, but
Bruno,
He's
like the fight.
he's got the fight that we need.
Yeah.
That's the only problem is will Arteta actually be okay with that?
Right. Tony, Declan Rice.
Yes.
You want to sell him, bench him, or keep him?
I want to keep him, but I want to push him up until the 10th or the 8th.
Okay.
One of the 8s.
He's a left 8. Yeah, for sure. Mr. Tom has stopped by before he's going to tuck himself into bed. And let's hope good things happen for Mr. Tom this weekend coming up. Okay. What an amazing season Declan Rice has had. I think he's maybe suffered a little bit going between 6 and 8, but he can do it. He's shown that he can do it. And if we get a bona fide number 6, then Declan Rice can be that constant number 8 for us. Anything else, Tony, before I pass it over to Lawrence?
No, just Mr. Bruno again. But shoot those roles.
Bruno doesn't play for us.
He's really hoping that the club target Bruno, from
You know what? You
Newcastle.
keep saying Bruno. They're gonna make a mistake and get the wrong one.
Is
Don't
there any
say
bad
Bruno
Brunos?
anymore, please. Just say his
Is
last
there any
name.
bad Brunos out there?
There are
Gary?
bad Brunos out there. Yes. No,
Lawrence,
you know what?
what
We're
do
not talking about that name anymore. So
Okay.
that name is stricken from this
Okay.
show.
Lawrence, Declan Rice, Lawrence.
Sell him.
All right, you're off. You know what? You're off. I can't. You're
Keep him,
muted.
of course.
Tiger. Have a good one.
Keep,
All right. Yeah.
keep him, of course. Best player. How Phil Foden got voted Player of the Year ahead of him, beggars belief.
No, I
I
get
just
it.
don't understand that. How Phil Foden won PFA and Football Writers Player of the Year this season just doesn't
Because
make
he-
sense to me.
Probably because he pushed his team to a league title.
I mean, that is an answer. That is an
That's
answer.
it, isn't it?
He stood up for them late in the second half of the season for sure. They needed somebody, and he was the one. I mean, it's been a long time coming for him anyway. So we've been sitting there watching him coming off and onto the bench, and now
Right.
maybe he's just established himself
I
as
want to.
a legitimate
wanna-
starter and all that.
I want to be talking about him as a second placer next season. This time next year, talking about him as having a great season, but he came second to Arsenal, 5 points behind us.
Yeah, because maybe one of our players would have pushed us to a title win, right? And then they get that accolade.
Yeah.
Declan Rice or Martin Odegaard or whoever it may be. And Alexander Isak. See what I think?
There's two Newcastle players coming Arsenal. You heard it here first from the two panel members of the circle here.
Got 180 mil hanging around.
We have
Nothing
actually.
to do with it.
We have.
Think about it.
fluff.
180. If you pay 180 mil for those two, I think we're good. Yeah.
We have a decent amount of cash flow now, Gary.
Yeah.
From the
I
Champions
mean,
League.
I think we're good because Arteta doesn't want a big bench anyways. But if you said, guess what, you have a backup you can rotate Rice in and out with Jorginho and all this kind of stuff, and
I'm
then
not getting both.
and then Isak, sits up,
Yeah, they wouldn't sell us both, would they? That would just how
No,
could
they
they?
wouldn't
You know
sell-
what I mean? We
wouldn't
might
sell
get
us
one. They'd be nutters to do it, wouldn't they?
Anything to say about Declan Rice then, Stan, or did you have your say?
No, but I would just say money well spent. There you go.
Yeah.
Money well spent.
When last
Very
summer
happy.
people were talking about
Very happy.
Caicedo, I'm just going to say I was firmly in Declan Rice camp last summer.
No,
over
you
here.
were. I like I said, yes, he has definitely answered the call. I don't know how Caseta would have done, but we definitely knew that he was going to bring leadership to the squad. That was the one thing he was going to do, and that's the one thing he definitely has brought along with And I think the other part is Arteta. I was listening to somebody talk about it, and they were like, "You're belittling what Moyes did for Rice by saying that Arteta added some new things to Rice's to Rice."
There we
Was it
go,
you?
Stan.
You? That was you,
There
right?
we go, Stan.
Right,
There we
but
go.
but like I said, I backed you up.
Well,
'cause
that's
it-
Make
cheating,
Stan
he
feel
actually
better.
said Rice actually said that, and there are new things to
Yeah.
the
Yeah, he
game
did.
that Rice actually said that. It's what he said. So, yes,
right.
we're a better team, so he can do
Yeah.
it. But I think he's
Even
definitely
someone like Mbappe going to Real Madrid is going to learn something just because of some of the players that are around him. A new coach with fresh ideas. You're going to continue to learn.
When David Beckham went to Real Madrid, he became a better player. When David Beckham went to Madrid, Ronaldo went to Madrid, he became a better player. There are levels to this as well. But listen, I'm going to tout Declan Rice because I've also touted Nuno Tavares, so I've got to balance things up. You know what I mean? There was a time when I said Nuno Tavares could be our starting left back.
we tried to pull you off of that.
You brought
ledge.
that up, man. You brought that up.
You kept running to it.
I
Trying to pull
want
you back.
I always want to stay balanced. I always want to stay keep my feet firmly on the ground. You know what I mean?
I read that.
But you deny that you wanted.
Hold on. Lawrence started before you.
Yeah, I read that that they're talking about Nuno Tavares being cover for Saka next season.
Nuno Tavares.
You know what? You know what?
I
actually-
was actually reading how
I'm
Nuno
seriously gonna mute
Tavares
you. You
irritated
keep this
Mikel
up.
Arteta. He
Lawrence, you
irritated
keep
him,
this
and
up, you
as
get
the
muted.
did.
All right.
What
You
was that?
you keep this up, you're gonna get muted.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
You're crossing the
You're
thin
not
line
going to
right
put me
here.
on the
Okay,
list.
The
we just
pen,
had
Oh,
the press
I'm
pause
gonna
right
do
the pen
here.
has been snapped. You watch what you're doing, young man. Watch it.
Tony,
Tony.
can you remember? Can you remember what you're about to say, Tony?
No,
What's up, Tony?
I can't.
We're talking about rice, but
See? Move like
There's
next
two
player.
reasons though. There are two reasons though.
Next.
Since I have
Oscar.
fibromyalgia so bad, it makes my nerves and everything hurt.
Yeah.
And it makes when you're hurt like that, it causes like a foggy brain. So add that with the power of a smoke, then you get where I'm at
the
now.
power of the smoke. It's
There
a
are
level of
levels.
smoke, right? It's not something that just creeped in under the door, right? It's not something you opened up and it just
Power
blew
of
into
the
your house, right?
That's what Pep was saying about Mikel Arteta.
So you
the
don't have
power
anything
of
to
the
say about
smoke is
Rice,
strong
yeah?
with This one.
That
All right,
that
Gary.
sounds like a
Odegaard.
Odegaard. Well, yeah, I mean he's
Okay.
you know what? He was doing
Yeah,
all the same stuff
definitely.
last season. This season, he just didn't. Like once again, he creates enough chances for us. He doesn't have somebody to finish it off, and that's why we keep asking for a striker, right? We're asking for finishers. Trossard's one of them. We don't have too many. We need more of those type of
Trossard.
players that can open up stuff for Odegaard.
Yeah.
He's more clinical than most of our attackers. Trossard is. I mean, he scores what, every 100 minutes he scores a goal? That's
Right.
up there with some of the top Arsenal players. So, yeah, Trossard is, he scores goals, right? He created goals last year. He's scoring goals this year. Can we do better? Yeah. I mean, I think about it. If he had the legs of a Martinelli, teams would be scared, right? So,
Yeah.
there you go.
All
Now,
right.
we're keeping
20
Erdegaard for sure.
Odegaard, 8 goals, 10 assists, Dan. 25 years old and in his prime.
Keep. Nothing else to say.
Yeah,
Love the
Of
guy.
course. yeah.
Fantastic.
Lawrence, Martin Odegaard.
Yeah,
Keep.
but it's got to be more
There's a caveat.
more decisive in the final third. You know, how many times did we see him lay the ball off to someone when he had the opportunity to score himself? You know, he's got to be more clinical in the final third.
It's
So maybe
'cause
you're
he's
saying
back-
that he needs to improve his decision making.
No, it's because he's
Yeah.
back. He's
Like Theo Walcott, innit?
backtracking.
Theo Walcott was
He's
a bit like that.
backtracking, playing defense, and they want him going up as a.
Not when he doesn't take the shot,
You
Tony.
can't do both at once.
No. He can take the shot instead of passing
Okay,
it to someone.
listen.
That's what we're saying. Don't pass, shoot.
Tony makes a reasonable point here. The situation with
He
Havertz
does.
at the beginning of the season may have affected Odegaard's first half of the season.
You
You
know
know
what?
what I mean?
That can't be he's supposed to build up the players, not get hindered by those. You know what I mean? Like he's our captain and all of that. Like he's playing with Havertz, who might be bringing him down. But guess what? He's supposed to do. He's supposed to bring Havertz up. He's the captain, and he's one of our most talented.
I don't think he's
players.
the captain anymore.
No, he's the captain. He wears the armband. He's the captain. Until that
Teddy, where you been?
changes.
Where you been?
Until
I
that
didn't-
changes.
Tony's going to break some news here.
We have
Breaking
two
news.
captains.
Dan's got some breaking
Fabrizio
news.
Turner. Fabrizio Turner.
Ray, have you watched this dude's?
Is it concrete?
Have you watched us do free kicks, Ray?
Yeah.
Have you seen? Do you know what happens?
Rice takes them. We score.
Do you know what
We
happened?
score.
So a captain has to take the free kicks. Is that what you're trying to say? Is that actually written in the book? Captains take free kicks.
No, but it's always him. It's always Gabrielle. It's the three of them. They have a triarch.
Gabriel
Okay, but
doesn't take
that's
free
got
kicks.
nothing. The set piece routines has got nothing to do with the captain. Tony Adams was not involved in the set piece routines. He wasn't taking free kicks. You know,
Yeah.
Nigel Winterburn, David Seaman wasn't doing that. So
I,
Erdegaard will remain captain, right?
I don't think we'll just have one captain though.
Breaking news.
No, no. You know what? You might be.
Una Emery, here we go again.
Erdegaard is our captain, but he
Oy
just needs to work
vey.
on something.
Arteta accepted the 5 captain thing. Come on, Ray.
What? No. Tony.
Don't do this.
10
Don't
10
take
months.
the bait.
10 months.
Don't
Tony,
forget what
Tony,
Uncle
Tony,
Artie
Tony,
did, Ray.
Tony, 10 months. We can only go back 10 months.
Yes, Gary.
Back to the Future goes back 10 months. That's it. That you look at it. There's only 10 months on the dial. You can't go back any further. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules.
Tony,
I'm-
Tony, for your benefit, the
I'm
world is only 10
stoned
months
enough,
old.
Gary, to get through your barriers.
I
I'm gonna
want,
break
I
through.
want
Have a
John
breakthrough.
Smythe. I want John Smythe to do a Photoshop of Tony and Back to the Future in that car.
Tony's
Tony
like, what is
McFly.
this 10 months
Tony
thing?
Mc-
He's skipping the
Going back.
prayers.
Is it this dial only goes up to 10? What is
Tony
this?
McFly is going back to 2018.
If Tony's wheelchair reaches 30 miles an hour,
All right, that's Mark Odegaard. Tony, you're too much. Gary, he's just laying some
Actually,
bait out.
probably like
You're
more
just-
like-
No,
Eight
he
miles an
tried.
hour.
He tried. You know what? He's one of. You know how like somebody tries to
What
break
do
the
they have
break
to do,
break
Stan?
the break,
Did they
break
have
the
to do
fence,
70 or 80 miles
the
an hour?
border, right? That was Tony trying to break away. We caught him before he even got a step. He stepped across the line,
Look
and
at him.
the lights went on.
Look at that
Sirens
smile.
were blaring, and we brought him back in. Sorry,
Look
Look
fella,
at
you can't
look at
leave.
that smile.
You got to stay in the 10-month zone.
Right, Tony's been sniffing the crones again.
Yes. Oh, see, you look at you, Lawrence. Don't
Yeah.
don't let
All right.
Tony
no.
McFly.
Okay.
Tony McFly.
Tony McFly. All right. Thomas Partey.
Tony, you want to
Sell.
talk about it?
Sell.
Thomas.
There you go.
Sold.
Sell, man.
Sold, Ray.
Sold.
He bids. He's
Yeah.
sold.
Saudi Arabia. Listen, I think I held on for the longest time in the hope that Mr. 24 would come back. He came back for a time in this season, and I think he helped us in some way, shape, or form with Jorginho. But
His last 2 games are shit.
it's
What did I
time.
say to
Yeah.
What did I say 2
here's
shows ago?
something.
Remember 2 shows ago? 2 shows ago, I
Yeah.
said all I want.
No. Here's
If
something
you
to
could give us
think
2
about.
good games,
Yeah.
give me 2 good games.
Yeah.
I said, remember, I said, give me 2 good
Man
games.
United.
Thomas. Finish this
Yeah.
season, help us out, and then off you go.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it. He was shit
Yeah.
in those 2 games. Sorry.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know. Here's
Yeah.
something I
Don't-
was just
don't
thinking
say-
about. If we can't get any money for him, do we just keep him and have him come off our bench?
No.
Not for 200 bags.
The club will get rid of him because of those allegations against him.
All right. What are we accepting around? What's the line? 20 million? 25?
25.
30.
If he's going to a Saudi team, we should get a decent.
It
amount
would
of
be
money
like 45. If he's
to
going
Saudi.
That's what we bought him
Yeah.
for, right? We bought him for 45.
Yeah.
He hasn't got his best years ahead of him, right? So,
No.
what are you saying?
30.
25 to 30? 25 to 30?
He's going to be 31. He's going to be 31 in June. Next month, he'll be
Right.
31.
Give us
1
million for each of his years.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 31
Wait,
million.
yeah.
We'll take it. All right. A player that's 1 year older, but I think he's gotten a 1 year extension already.
2 years older. 2
Uh,
years older.
All right. 32 years. Yeah, you're right. 2 years older. Well, a year and a half of splitting hairs.
Oh,
right?
now what? What is up with that?
It's a December and June type of birthday thing.
You were doing that before. Now all of a sudden you're going into the months and
Well,
stuff.
I am going into the months, yeah, but
It's
because
like
we
when
haven't
you're a kid-
argued
it's like when you're a
in a
kid,
long
right?
time. Gary.
And it's like when you're a kid and someone goes to you for the first time. How old are you? And you go 6 3/4 because you want to be older than what you are. I'm 6 3/4, so you're 6.
I'm almost 7. I'm almost 7.
Gary and I haven't
Almost
argued in the longest time because Arsenal are just so much better. We haven't
Yeah.
been able to argue about it too
True.
much. So,
True.
all right, Jorginho, we're gonna keep him for another year.
Yes, everybody. I think.
Yeah.
Yes. He's
Well,
happy. role,
Yeah.
which is the plus side.
And-
But we still need to buy a replacement for him.
No.
He's the new
Absolutely,
El-
yeah.
the new El
That's a
Nene.
different show. That's a different show.
He's the new El Nene and could maybe be more helpful.
he's looking
That's how I look
forward
at
though,
it.
Gary.
When did Gary get a hold of the controls?
Dude,
East Coast
how
turn,
often have you
though.
been under the controls and you're not even allowed to drive?
Tony, you took your hand off the wheel and Gary grabbed it. That's what
Damn
happened.
right I did, because I didn't want to crash. I'm trying to keep us, between the lines.
Come on, Gary. We're just playing bumper cars.
No, exactly. That's the problem. No.
All right. But Stan, we needed to keep some stability in midfield. If Partey's moving, we need to keep Jorginho as we
Also, as
transition.
well,
Right?
El Nene's moving on, so if he's going to kind of be like the new El Nene, but maybe used a little bit more, I'm down with that for another year.
Yeah.
He proved
Yeah.
himself last season. It's not like we're going to start him in every game. He's a handy squad player, and he brings a lot of experience as well. So I'm down with another year.
Yeah, and look, we
Hang on,
we're
this is what I
talking-
say. Hold on, I would say bench. A
bench. Yeah. But we're going to look at players like that in cup competitions, and if he's a player in our midfield in an FA
Perfect
Cup
for the bench.
quarterfinal,
Perfect bench player.
FA Cup early rounds, Carabao Cup early rounds, and an expanded Champions League. Lawrence, what do you say about Jorginho?
Well, he's already signed a contract, so
We're stuck.
yeah, bench.
Bench. All right. Tony, you like Jorginho?
I like Jorginho, but
But
It's always a but.
But
we gotta bring in his replacement at the same time.
Yes. Well, it will be Partey's replacement. It could
Yes.
be Bruno. It could be a Bruno. It could be a Zubimendi. It could be a Paulinho.
Fun.
Wow.
Bruno for triple
Well,
the
the-
price we get.
No more Bruno talk, please.
What-
Groma-
would
What's his name?
would it make sense
Where is
to bring in Vieira as Partey's replacement?
who?
Vieira,
Like which one? The one from back
Fabio?
in the,
Fabio Vieira.
Patrick.
I know, that's what I thought he meant. He said Patrick, right?
Bring in Patrick.
No,
Patrick, do you want us to-
Fabio.
No, I don't know.
Fabio.
That does still don't know. No.
The teabag.
No.
Teabag.
I definitely don't know what that
Stan's left. Stan is left. This is
I don't know what
priceless.
you're
Yeah.
talking about. You
All
are
right. Out of respect for
being
Gary,
nothing's coming out.
out of respect for Gary, I was not going to push this teabag thing much further.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah.
I no.
Fabio Vieira, Gary, 23 years old. He's a mate of Martinelli.
Sold. Come on, Gary. Right?
One goal, 2 assists all season.
Yeah.
Only 11. Only
You know what?
11. games.
Everybody's saying sell, right? That's
Yeah,
only
yeah.
the
Sell
right
him.
answer.
He's not one, he's not available, and two, he
I-
doesn't even stand
I'm
out when he does.
interested.
We need more. We're not I think we can't sit like how long he's been here now? His second year?
Yep. Second season.
And we haven't been able to keep him healthy enough for him to get a run of games.
Yeah.
Like, so I he's got to go.
Curious. I'm curious to see what Stan would say about this. I thought that Fabio
I know. I
was
wish he would come back.
a pet project. I thought
From whatever he's doing, he needs to come back.
all right, we'll move on. All right, Tony. Emil Smith Rowe, Tony.
Gone.
I think I'm gonna bench Emil Smith Rowe. He's the one I'm keeping hope for.
You're not allowed to try to get like 20 million for him,
Right.
right? Come on.
Yeah. Stan, Fabio Vieira. Keep sell bench.
You know how I feel about Teabag, man. But
Nobody knows who that guy is.
bench.
Oh, okay.
Bench.
You're willing to keep
One
him.
more.
He's-
I'm going to give him one more season from
I
bench
think,
and see if he can,
you know, like-
find something.
like American Idol, I think there's a safe card, and you're gonna save Fabio. I'm
I'm
gonna
not.
I'm gonna
He's
save
sold,
Emil
right?
Smith Rowe. I'm
The
gonna
only
save.
trade, The only correct answer is sold. Sold. Bye,
Right.
Fabio.
Emil Smith Rowe, Tony. What did we say about him?
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Okay. I'm going to save Emil Smith Rowe. Lawrence.
Reluctantly, I think we've got to sell him.
There's
I
a
don't
player
know.
there.
I love Emil Smith Rowe, but
The-
from what I've seen of him recently, he's lost some pace. He's rusty. I think we'd be better off selling him and getting the money for him.
He's Jack 2.0, Ray.
Jack Wilshere. Harsh. Okay. He's got all the talent in the world. There could be some performances
So did Wilshire, but
in him like
He-
Wilshere had, you know. All right.
What
Gary,
did Wilshire?
Emil Smith Rowe, Gary.
Yeah, no, I say sell, but I have a feeling we've got so many, so many young players that it's gonna be hard to sell all of them.
Mhm.
So, but I sell. We're gonna
23.
sell first, and then who we can't sell, then I think we'll have to hold on to. But I just don't. He's not an answer, and he had a lot of did not play
Mhm.
on it. In terms
It
of
was hard. It was hard watching the TV cameras going to the sideline, and you saw him sitting there motionless, like he was never going to get an opportunity to come on.
yeah. Or was it? Was it when Martinelli came off and you see him reaching out to get a handshake, and Martinelli's pissed because he got taken off, and you're like, oof, that didn't look good. But
Didn't look good.
it didn't look good. But as an athlete, some people will say, that's just how it works. But
Yeah.
I don't know what he can do. Like Arteta says, you're not the answer. So
Yeah. Stan Smith Rowe.
In order for us to be able to move on to that next level and continue shopping at Harrods, which is where we bought Rice, and perhaps where we can pay big money for a player like Isak, it means that we have to balance the books. And Emil Smith Rowe, being a homegrown talent, fits perfectly. And as Gary said, it's not that he's a bad player. He doesn't seem to fit into what Mikel Arteta's tactics for a team is. And it would probably be better for the player where he could probably go to another team and fit in somewhere and make a name for himself, because it's not that he's a bad player. His injuries notwithstanding, which have kind of scuppered him a little bit. But even in saying that, for the last 18 months or so, I think he's been injury-free. It's not like he's only just come back from injury. It's kind of like, if you look at the numbers, he's been back for a while. But Arteta hasn't chosen to use him. So cash in,
Mhm.
sell.
Arteta just doesn't like him for some reason.
Not the right color in the box.
It's the
He
curse
doesn't
of the
have
number
that-
10 shirt.
He doesn't have that
Weighs
crown.
heavy. Number 10 shirt weighs heavy.
It wasn't number 6 Brown, right?
no, you know what? This is another one of those we should have
Number
sold
10
him.
shirt, man.
And what was it? West Ham wanted to buy him for 30, 35 or whatever it was,
Yeah.
right? Or is it Villa? I can't remember
Villa.
which one.
Aston Villa.
Villa.
They wanted to buy him for 30,
They did.
35, and
They both probably had a
and
look on
once again Arsenal said no, and once
That's
again Arsenal did not play the player, and once again Arsenal is going to lose when they go out, when they have to sell him now, because they don't want to play him. And it's like, if somebody comes to you for one of your players and they are not like a sure thing, they should go. Because especially the way we've been moving, think about where we've been moving. He's not going to catch up. Even if he gets fully healthy, he's not going to be able to catch up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we say the same thing about Zinchenko and Jesus. He's in the same boat. He's a young up-and-coming player. Like Martinelli hasn't even caught up, and he's one of our better young players. Think of, right?
Yeah.
Emil Smith Rowe isn't even getting minutes. And he got more minutes than Nelson, right? and still, well, he's
And I
far.
remember.
He's
I
far.
remember the conversation we
I
had
got
with
a feeling that we won't be
Smith Rowe
spending
about
much time on
Martin
Nelson when
Kravitz.
his name comes up. That'll be fairly quick.
What color are you
Should we just do it
picking, Ray?
now?
What color?
Yellow.
Ah,
Tony, you know what? You had the box and you ripped the box up. Is that what you did, Tony? The box with the with a
Come on,
sharpener in it.
look, it's all kinds of different colors.
Some jokes just like write themselves, don't they?
It's
Looking
like
at
a
Tony with
64.
crayons.
It's like a 64 pack.
The next step is artistry from Tony Turner. The next step is artistry. Okay. Listen, I'm gonna hold out for hope for a miss with throw. But
Really?
the next one is Reece Nelson.
Still,
No, if you're not keeping Emil Smith Rowe, you're not keeping Nelson. Are you?
I'm not keeping Nelson. No.
If you
Sell.
can't get more minutes in the Millstrip row, and you can't stay.
So,
Yep.
So,
again, another homegrown talent, which helps us with the sustainability and all that stuff. He's another homegrown talent, right? So that helps.
Yeah.
How many minutes did he play, Gary?
he played less than a Millstrip
Not
row.
enough.
Yeah. He didn't make
Look
the
it
cut.
up, Gary.
I
Don't be
already
lazy.
did. Okay,
All right.
here,
So
I'll look it up.
that's an easy one. Reece Nelson.
Yeah.
Okay, well, wait a second if you want to look it
So
up.
yeah, so the minutes are, and let's see. Ooh. Here we go. I have to. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, here we go.
Next
Is Reece
one.
Nelson good enough to play week in, week out in the Premier League team?
I think he is.
No, not at the not in the title race, Stan.
Not in the title
Yeah.
race now.
No.
So yeah, so here we
Maybe
go.
we'll-
So Reece Nelson has 268 minutes played in
A
the Premier
season.
League, and the
who's the
Millstrip
big
row
under
has
500?
353.
Yeah.
That's close.
Even Fabio Vieira has more minutes than Nelson. He's got 297.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the players who did not contribute very much to a title race. You know,
Yeah.
through injury, yes, through injury, but they
I
could
do
have
think there's
gotten
more
more
chance
minutes.
of T-Bag getting a stab execution over, say, a Nelson or a Emil Smith Rowe.
Yeah.
You know, I could see him sneaking another season in and maybe having a last throw of the dice to see if he can do anything. Because
It
in his
will
last
be.
appearance, in his last appearance when he played on the right-hand side, he looked pretty good, didn't he, when he came off the bench? So if he could get a good pre-season under his belt, which he's not really had before, who knows? There's a player
Yes.
in now. I still believe.
Yeah. Well, it's
Don't
one of those
believe.
things where he just needs to. So we need to somehow keep him healthy enough to get a run. You know.
We don't want to be the fool, Nelson, about Reece Nelson.
Yeah.
There you go.
Why not, Ray?
Tony, Leandro, Leo. I wanted this player from Brighton for a couple of seasons. We got him, and he's exceeded my expectations. Leandro Trossard.
Did you see his goal tally against the traditional Big Six? It was crazy.
I could imagine that it was impressive.
Yeah, I
Trossard.
sent it to. I know I sent it to you, Ray, but
I think me and you should actually feel very pleased about how Trossard's turned out, right? Because I remember on this broadcast we were talking about transfers and players that we would like. We both said there's an outside pick that we like, that I like, and you agreed as well, and it was Trossard.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, the football gods were listening to that podcast.
Yeah.
They decided
Yeah.
to make sure that we couldn't get Mudryk, and Trossard was available for, was it 27 million, 27.5 million, which you have to say is a steal in a pinch today for what people are paying for. Look at Anthony. They paid 80 odd million for Anthony. Look at Mudryk.
Yeah.
Trossard, the numbers is brilliant.
Yeah. What a player. He's come in and he's improved.
I like it. I like it that Arteta actually finally changed his mind to trusting, because he was like,
Well, I think some of this has to do with Martinelli, and we'll speak about Martinelli.
well, it's both those injuries.
If you're not cutting the mustard, Tony, if Martinelli was cutting the mustard, Trossard would probably still be getting limited minutes. And we can probably tie in the discussion with Raya along with Trossard, because I think it came out recently that Trossard and Arteta had a discussion about his lack of minutes. And, some people are saying there is a player there that you have to manage, which we got Trossard for that reason. we got Trossard because of a fallout with De Zerbi. And look, I think Trossard's a good player, and he's not a disruption. And at the end of the day, I don't think he's a disruption in the dressing room, but he does want to play games at the age that he is, at 28, 29 years old. You know,
Ray.
yeah.
I think he's better
That's
coming
right
off
at the start of your streak, Luce, and he's not getting the minutes. He
Yeah,
deserves
well,
them, but he's not giving them to him.
I think he's more of an impact player when he comes off the bench than he is when he starts the game.
Yeah.
I used to think
I
that.
don't
I used to
think so.
think that for a
If you
long
look at-
time.
if you look
but
at-
recently,
if you-
I've changed
Yeah.
my opinion on that. But I
If
did
you
used
look
to
at
think
his
that.
stats don't say he's only an impact player for us.
He's keeping
his-
Martinelli
his-
out of the team. and
His
to me,
stats say that he starts and he scores and we win.
for the age of where Martinelli is, and where
See,
he's
so
been, I
When
think
he starts
it's
and
good.
he-
It's good for him
yeah.
to have this competition. It's good
Yeah.
for Martinelli to have this.
I think you feel that way because Martinelli has pace, and they have completely different style. Between Martinelli and Trossard, there's a huge difference in style. As Gary said, Trossard's got that finishing.
What's
He's,
what's your selling
he's-
price on him?
He
Ray?
started. He scored in like 19 games, all games, and
How much would you sell
and
Martinelli
13
for?
of
Ray?
them and 13 of them is when he started, and 6 is when he came off the bench.
Mhm.
So he
I'd
is
start Trossard for me. He's a starter for
impact
me at the
player.
minute.
Yes, he can
Start.
do that too, but he scored most of his goals when he started.
We're going to get to Martinelli, Tony. So just stick a pin in that one for a second. Talk about Trossard. I know you like Trossard, Tony.
Yeah, it pissed me off. Like he's just sitting there on the sidelines. Jarcho wasn't using him. Then Martinelli and Jesus got hurt at the same time. Arteta was smart enough, and he's like, you guys can use this crayon if you want to. It wasn't a designated color.
Is it good if you're in the box or out of the box? What is it? If you're a crayon in the box, does that mean you're not coming on? Or if you're a crayon in the box, that means you're playing?
I'm not sure, Ray.
Gary Trossard, he's been in position to get on the end of the moves that because we generally play a lot through the right and centrally, and a lot of our moves finish on the left hand side. He's taken advantage where Martinelli has struggled this season.
Yeah. You called, was it Martinelli, the guy running with his head, a headless chicken or whatever it was, right? Is what you call him. Yeah, like Trossard isn't able to run as fast as the headless chicken, but he does. He's clinical with his feet, so when he does get a chance, and he's had many of we've seen a lot of chances he's missed, but he gets himself in those situations, right? I forgot which game it was where it might have been the Newcastle game, right, where he didn't score, but he had a really good opportunity, I think. But yeah,
Villa?
no,
Against Villa at home.
was it a Villa? Yeah, so I think he is a. Yeah, no, he's definitely keeping him. He could be a starter for us, but like I said, he can do both, and he's been willing to do whatever it takes. So I kind of feel like we got a good one. We just see how it pans out. But yeah.
Gary, continue with Martinelli then.
Martinelli is right now. He's bench. He's a young up-and-coming player. He has started for us, but he might need to take a step back and work his way back into doing the things that I think he needs to do. Which, he's got the pace, but the other parts of his game when he gets into the final third need to be worked on and get better at.
Yeah.
So I think the hunger that he was getting when it was him and Trossard coming in and out of the lineup. He needs to have that hunger now all the time, not just when he gets pushed to the side. So young player, I think the difference between him and Saka is he doesn't have somebody. Saka has been able to at least maintain, and Trossard
Levels.
has
Yeah.
made it easy for Arteta to say, I'll bring him in, all right?
Yeah.
And Martinelli's play has made it easy as well, plus his injuries, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saka, we know Saka and the levels that he's gone up to, even if some people say he's had a poor season or not to the level that he was at before. I tend to not agree with that. I disagree with that. Trossard having that experience at 29 years old versus Martinelli at 22 years old, there is a difference in maturity, difference in years, and we hope that Martinelli's game will modify to where he just gets it. One day he's just going to get it and not be that player that is ultimately a headless chicken.
It's
running down
crazy.
dark
It's crazy that he's 22 and we've had him 5 years. Right?
forever. Yes, exactly. Emery brought him in, right? Martinelli was a casualty of 2 injuries in Arteta's slow build-up play, which had him walking up the pitch and hugging the sideline, whereas Trossard plays in the middle where Arteta wants him. I happen to think we played some counter-attacking football and we used Martinelli's pace. If we had slow build-up play, I think he definitely got into opportunities where he could have scored more, and he had a great season with stability, I think, on the left side. I don't know about Martinelli. He had Granit Xhaka, but now this season he had Declan Rice. But obviously, any player can encounter injuries and have
Just say
a.
you're listening to offers, Ray. You're listening for offers.
No, I'm definitely going to bench Martinelli, like Gary said. I agree with Gary. Bench him. I think that's a great point that Gary made. Let him sit on the bench and let him work his way back into the team. It's definitely Trossard's place right now. If I'm putting out a first 11, Trossard's in that position for me.
So
right
you're
now.
not taking any offers for Martinelli.
No. I mean,
we
every
talk about
player-
having strength and depth.
every player's a price as well, though.
Wouldn't he be a good player to have come off the bench?
That's what I said, right? I said you're listening to offers.
I think as a business, you have to. Right,
Oh.
Gary? You get 80 million or 90 million.
We're playing stay, bench, or sell.
Mhm.
Any player you're gonna listen. If somebody came in and said
Right.
we're gonna pay 200 mil for Saka, you might consider it, right?
Yeah.
So the offer has to make it easy for you to say yes.
Yeah.
Like Martinelli, though, I think is a bench player for us.
Mm-hmm. What's happened to Martinelli? Stan, what's happened to Martinelli this season?
I like Martinelli a lot, but I think, as Gary says, I think he's a bench player who's been given a number 1 starting spot, and it shows that he is still got a way to develop. We're at that stage now where we should have somebody like a Rodrigo on the left-hand side, and Martinelli is the understudy and coming off the bench. And when Rodrigo can't play, he does. He comes off the bench, but he has been given a starting. He's a number 11. He's got a starting shirt and everything, but he's not a starter yet. There's talent now. There's talent now, and what you need is now that Trossard is giving him, now that Martinelli's seen that it's not a given that he's going to be able to start. Remember what I used to say about some players in the team where they know that they're the ones that are going to get picked, and they find themselves in the middle of a match having a bad time, and they start to con themselves, like Hector Bellerin. Hector Bellerin had no competition, so I could imagine him saying to himself, "I'm having a real stinker today, and I'm having a real stinker today, but I'm going to make up for it in the next game. The next game, I'm going to do much better," because he knows he's going to get picked. And in the next game, he's having the same conversation. Complacency. Now that he's got someone like Trossard keeping him out, it might help the lad, and that's what he needs.
Yeah, he's looking at a player. He's looking at a Belgian international who is in the prime of his career, 29 years old.
It's going to help him.
Trossard. It's going to help him push him to new levels. I think you're right about that.
It means now that when Martinelli is allowed to come off the bench and come on, he has to do something to get into the manager's eye.
Yeah.
He has to push the guy out
and finish. His finishing has been questionable as well. We've also seen him come on late in games because of his injury this season in the run-in, down the right side and centrally. So that could be something Arteta is experimenting with.
And also as well, I know that we can say that, you know, he's had like a lot of inconsistencies with the people playing around him at left back and at left eight. But I think it was at the last game that he came on, or the one before that, he literally fell over.
yeah,
That's got
it's
nothing to do with the people around you. That's
Against
just you
Bournemouth.
falling over.
his legs are moving too fast for him, for his thought process. I get.
A giraffe and
Well,
ice.
Colonel Ward said, if we get Osimhen, Sesko, or Isak, then do we think Arteta will try a Havertz right wing to give Saka a rest? I think whoever we bring in will be there to rotate with Havertz.
If you're bringing in Osimhen, if you're bringing in
Isak.
Yeah, I know.
Isak,
what he's
they're
saying,
not
yeah.
rotating with anyone.
So I think Sesko could be the one, you know what I mean? Just based off
Yeah.
of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Supplement rather
You
than.
don't need to rotate players. Like at this point, we're bringing in somebody and they're going to cost us upwards 60 mil plus.
I think we do, Gary, because rotation is just moving a player in and out for the season, right?
No, but I'm talking about like we're bringing in, like for me, I feel like if we're bringing in a striker, unless they're very young, they're coming in to start for us because that's what we need. A striker coming in. Like Havertz isn't necessarily a striker per se. It's not his first. Like his first thought isn't what a striker.
But has his emergence changed their thinking a little bit? Do you know what I mean? Where they were thinking, has his emergence in that position kind of skewed their thinking? Where before his emergence, it was like, oh, Ivan Toney, 80 million, Isak, maybe 100 million, Osimhen, 112 million. But now you're thinking, oh, if Havertz can offset that, maybe we spend like a 56 million on a Zesco. Or
that's almost
50 million on a Xerxes.
Yeah, that's almost.
Do that.
To me, that's almost like, should we sell Emile Smith Rowe for 35 or should we just keep him because he's worth 45? That's what that thought is for me. Yes, it sounds good and all, but I think you want a striker.
That's what I mean. Has the emergence of Havertz maybe changed that? We don't need.
You know why? No. You know why I say no, because think about how many times we've seen Havertz in a situation where he's one-on-one with a defender or a goalkeeper, and a striker scores that. If that's Isak in that same position, he scores that, right? Yeah. Havertz kicks it right at the defender, right at the goalkeeper, and you're like, damn. Like we saw Son do that, right? We saw Son do that at the end of the season. That's what Havertz does. Consistently, he does that. Not too often does he make it past that one defender that's blocking his path. Right. He gets the one in those one-on-one situations, and that's what when we talk about a striker, it's those situations where you're like, Isak, he's scoring. Tony, he's scoring. Right?
Havertz,
Havertz, no. So that's kind of why I say no.
BX said Havertz looks good up front. I would take a top shelf winger over a striker. I'm going to just generalize it as a forward now, to where we can maybe interchange players left, right, and through the middle as well. Steven said you can't let a player that young with that potential go. Martinelli proved his worth last season. So we're just saying bench, Stephen. Stan?
Just speaking of strikers, I put a poll out yesterday. I said, regarding strikers, I said you can only have one. And the choices I gave was Isak, Sesko, Gyökeres, and Tony. So the top vote was Isak at 65%.
Yeah.
And then the next one was Gyökeres, if I'm saying it right, at 19%. And then very close behind was Sesko on 17%. So what percent do you think Ivan Toney got? He got 0.
5.
He got 0. No one. No one.
We've moved.
Ivan Toney. No one.
Yeah, we've moved.
How the world has changed. The world has changed, right? Big time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's because Isak wasn't on the list. It was
on
our minds, right?
He's
think about
it. You know he did that. You had Jeremy Alia there. You had Jeremy Alia there alongside Thierry Henry in your poll.
But I think it's going to be interesting to see whether they push for someone like an Isak, which could be 80, 90 million plus, or they hedge their bets because of the emergence of Havertz and go for a Sesko, which would be cheaper, or a Xerxes, that guy, who would be cheaper. Do you know what I'm getting at? Which does free up money then for another position.
Yeah.
But should they put all
Ray,
of that
why-
money
why-
into a
why did
striker?
you
That
give it-
you know what I mean? That's the
Tony,
choice. they've
Tony
got.
wants value for money from his transfer kitty.
But why,
Ray, what are you
why
gonna,
did you break
want
up
that.
with Yuri Tillemans, Ray? We could have got him on a free. And
Why did I?
you,
Because he
you still
he
want
guilted
to
me.
Wait. What? Wait. Like,
history.
let's
Ah.
talk about players that actually
He
play
almost
for,
got me.
that have played for this team. Will keep, Ray, you let the
He
gate
got
open
me
again.
again.
You let the
Damn
gate
it.
open, and he started to creep out. Get back in, Tony.
He's
Back in. 10
He's
months.
fishing.
You're only going 10 months, and we're
Lawrence.
going
He's
with Arsenal
fishing out
players.
there.
Arsenal
using
players.
my
Right,
I don't know.
trolling
I
motor,
don't. We don't
Gary.
have any player by that name.
Ray, are you going to ask me about
Thank you,
Martinelli,
Gary.
or is it?
Fishing. Huh? Lawrence, what?
You haven't asked me about Martinelli. I've just been sitting there for 5 minutes. So.
That's how Alonso used to feel.
So go ahead and ask him, Ray. The man's asking
Sorry,
for.
so.
Lawrence.
You're just sitting there laughing
I
at him.
was
No,
I
ask him.
was going to go to Tony and Lawrence. Yes.
Brutal.
Lawrence, how do you feel about Martinelli?
You forgot we were here, Ray.
Yeah. Well, on current form, I would say bench him. But I'm a big Martinelli fan, and I just think he's just had a lot of bad luck this season. And I think what he needs is a rest. And I think we're going to see the best of Martinelli again next year.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of half bench him, half keep him.
All right. We'll keep him. We can play, like, he can come on in the second half and play some cup games.
No, it's not keep.
All
It's start, bench, sell. Start, it's not keep. Start, bench, sell.
Well,
He's a bench, isn't he? So, I mean,
Ben, yeah.
start
yeah.
bench.
All right, let's go for his
you start
Brazilian
him. You-
teammate.
Hang on, Lawrence. You start him over benching him.
As I
So who
said,
you
on
talking?
current form, I'd bench him.
Oh, okay.
But I
There
think
you
there's
There you go.
potential in there. He's got to be back to his best next season.
To be a starter.
So, starter, yeah.
All right, so let's go to his Brazilian teammate, Gabriel Jesus. What are we going to do
Bye-bye.
here?
Bye-bye. Sell.
Yeah, listen, I think I'd be inclined to sell. He's one of those crayons. You got to take him out of the box and sell him. He's Arteta's strongest, brightest color in that box.
I think Tony's getting his crayon box now. You just queued him up. Sorry.
Tony's going to go speak to Jesus' agent right now. He's going to put a bid in for him for FC Oklahoma. Gabriel Jesus signs for the Basement Club, FC Oklahoma. All right, Lawrence, what are you doing with Gabriel Jesus?
Bench him.
All right, you're going to keep him
I
at the
still rate
club.
him. I don't think I'd bench him.
You wouldn't sell him. Okay.
No.
This
Stan?
is what color he is.
If I could get the money back that we spent on him, then I'd sell him. Otherwise, I'd bench him. But
Okay.
no, actually, no, I would sell him. Do you know why? Because if he's going to be on the bench, he's on 200 grand a week, and I think that would
Stan,
settle players
yeah.
to be starting. You know,
4
that'd settle
goals,
players.
5 assists.
Hey, here's
Sell.
a blue one without any paper on
Sell.
it.
It boost the wage bill.
Yeah.
Sell.
He's never improved his goal tally through all the time in Man City and now at Arsenal. He never improved.
It's actually
8
declining.
goals. Yeah, something like
Yeah, but
13 goal involvements in 35 games.
But Arteta sees him as a red crayon.
You took his shirt off. You took the paper off.
Well, smart. You know, I'd like him to be on the bench because I think he has something to offer. But for the wages that he's
There's
being,
2 of them without any paper, right?
for the wages that he's being paid, then we'd have to sell him because those wages are too high to be a bench player.
Yeah.
Here's a orange one also without the paper.
No shit.
You know what? Those things in your hand.
Like I've
Tony,
never seen orange
are
before.
not
Stan, he
Arsenal
turned
players.
into Tony Hart.
They're not Arsenal players.
Like I've never seen orange before. There's an orange one. I know what orange looks like, man.
He's turned into
I've seen
Tony
it.
Hart. He's drawing now with Tony Hart.
The gallery.
Remember Tony Hart,
I
Lawrence?
do. People used to
Yeah,
take pictures
Vision
in-
on. Remember
using
Vision on?
macaroni for hair.
It's a
Vision on.
orange one
Well-
without any paper. And
Gary.
most of it's tip.
Gabriel
It's a,
Jesus.
it's a high quality pencil, right? Or crayon.
That crayon doesn't play for Arsenal.
He's gone.
I bet you
Last I
this
looked.
one does.
Last
I
I
bet
looked,
you this one does.
Save us, Gary.
no,
Save it.
Jesus,
Save
no,
it.
Jesus for me.
I can't believe my
Once again,
missus is leaving me for this. I mean,
She's leaving you. What do you mean she's leaving you?
it's the time I spend on it.
Just for the evening.
No, I told you
EastEnders, Dan.
20
He's watching EastEnders.
I told you 26 and up. You know, they have to be contributors, right? They have to be.
Yes.
They have to change things for us when they step onto the pitch.
Yeah.
And Jesus doesn't do that. Jesus is a sell for me.
Sal. Yep. I agree. Sal.
Yeah.
Stephen Wood bench him as right wing backup and backup forever. The new strikers. I think we
That's
can
right,
sell
they're
him,
almost
and
the
I think
same
we can
color.
get. I think we can
Almost
get
the
a
same
player
color.
like Jared Bowen. There's another player I like from West Ham. Go get Jared Bowen to be
You know,
on the right wing for Saka.
if we're going to talk about Partey's salary,
I think
then
we'll move.
Jesus' salary also
I'll
comes
do that.
into play because
Yeah.
for the money we're spending on him, he's not giving us anywhere near the
Rafinha.
return on what we're spending on him.
Yeah, that and Arsenal have they're the top sustainable club now in all the leagues. So interesting. Okay, we have to talk about Bukayo Saka. Keep Bukayo Saka. 22 years old.
Start, bench or sell. Start. Bench or
Start.
sell. Not keep.
Start.
Start. It's a start, isn't it? It's a starter.
You start, it's an easy
Yeah,
one.
Fast starter.
Easy. All right, Eddie and Kedia, sell to a promoted club.
Sell.
Ipswich,
Definitely.
Leeds.
Saka, keep.
No.
Uh,
Sell that shit.
Eddie.
and Kedia, sell.
All right.
Definitely.
Five goals, 2
100%.
assists. I think he scored a few goals at the beginning of the season, helped us. He scored the first goal in our season.
What are you, his defence lawyer?
Wait.
Sell.
Way back. Now I'm trying to sell him for 40
plea
million.
bargain.
Yeah.
A plea bargain.
Wait,
We're
I'm
selling
gonna
him,
say-
right? Right? We're selling him.
Here's my plan.
well,
Sell him
No,
to
you say-
Ipswich.
Yeah.
Sell him to Ipswich. And it's
well,
like,
well,
he'll
I
score you your
told
first
you
goal
sell
of the
a
season
long
in the
time
Premier
ago,
League.
right? He sold.
where are your claims, Ray?
I will say to the promoted club, he won't score against Sheffield United unless you play them in the cup.
Ray really likes his blue crayon. He's not giving that up.
All right. Eddie and Kedia sell. Okay. Kai Havertz, I think that's the last one I have on the list. And unless anyone
Here's your
else
blue
has a name,
crayon, Ray.
Start.
Kai
bench or sell,
Havertz.
isn't it?
Yeah, look,
start.
Kai
At the
have
moment, in the current squad with the lineup that we have, he starts right until we buy a striker.
Yep.
So start.
yeah,
If you're playing a bench tomorrow, he starts, right?
yeah.
Definitely.
To
Definitely.
be determined.
What about Sambi Lokonga? Do you keep him or sell him?
Zambi.
Bye bye.
Gary knows. Gary knows that I linked him with Tavares.
Stands an evil scientist.
Gary knows I linked him with Tavares. And if we can get 25 million, if we can get 25 million for the pair, we'll take it.
Stan's smoking. He's burning up. He
All right.
killed Stan there.
What about Said Kolasinac? Is that what you're going to say next to me?
He plays for Atalanta, doesn't he?
Is he actually not an Arsenal player anymore? Like he's not
No.
on loan or anything?
No,
He
I
was
think
like,
we-
No,
We
I think-
severed ties.
what about Cedric?
Yeah,
It'd be
you know when
You can't trick
you know when
Sam
Arsenal
twice.
you
You
know
can't-
when Arsenal are going to be trekking
You're
all
thinking
over. the
it's
camp.
like I said. The choices are start, bench, sell, or drag out into the town square, put into stocks, and throw cabbages out.
Well,
'Cause
or
I would choose that one. If I said that, I would
I
choose
think-
that one.
I think we can just call him Kevin and leave him home alone every time we go to a European game. You know, Arteta
No, I
be
feel
like
I-
on the
no,
airplane.
I still like
on the
dragging them out
airplane,
into the town
Arteta
square,
be
put them
like,
into stocks, and throw
Kevin!
vegetables out.
Cedric, we forgot Cedric. He'll be the water carrier. He'll do something. He'll do something.
Why did we ever sign him for 4 years?
You know what? No, Tony. Stay on the road. Stay on the
He
road.
nearly pulled me in as well. I was going to join. I was like, no. He didn't
Stay on
almost
the
got
road,
me.
Tony.
Clever.
Stay on the road. Hey,
This
guess
is
what? You know what? If we're gonna go down this road, we also one of our other players who's also on our books is
my
is
side.
Tierney.
My
Is
side.
Tierney.
Kieran Tierney.
Oh, that's a good
My
shout.
side job,
Tierney.
Ray, is a rally driver.
Let him play. Sell
Bench.
Kieran Tierney.
I'm driving my rally car, Ray.
No, actually.
All right, that's the squad.
Bench.
Okay.
Bench. I'd bench Tierney. If we're going to sell Alexander Zinchenko, I'd maybe bench Tierney.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see at the beginning of the season who has
Those
actually
injuries,
moved
though,
on.
innit? Those injuries.
What
He even had injuries on loan, didn't he?
Did-
Maybe we sell.
Ray,
Yeah,
did
sell.
you mention
Injuries. Too many
Ray,
injuries.
did you mention Tommy Essa at all?
We did.
We done like a
okay,
blanket
sure.
sweep of the defence, didn't we? Like blanket swept it.
Back
Keep,
five.
Yeah.
keep. Or start.
Back five.
Okay.
It's like Seaman, Dixon, Winterburn, David O'Leary, Tony
Hey, you
Adams.
got to sneak David
Steve Ball.
O'Leary in there. He was longer.
89.
Man.
We played three at the back. Dad, we played three at the
Ray's
back
a sneaky
and like
little
at
devil.
Anfield in '89, three at the back.
Ray's a sneaky little devil.
George
Yeah,
Graham masterstroke.
Yeah.
Come on, David
I thought
O'Leary.
You know,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
week.
Record
This
holder.
week is going to be. Right, this is going to be the 35th anniversary of that win up at Anfield.
Wow, yeah, you're right. We'll
It's
talk
coming
about
up
it on
this week.
Sunday. Let's talk about it on Sunday.
Yeah.
So is
All
that
right.
the team then?
Sure.
Have we gone through the team? Is that it? Is that it?
Yeah, we
Is that
did.
everyone?
Yeah, that's
All right. That's great. That's a great shout out there, Lawrence. We'll talk about Anfield 89 on Sunday. Okay. Okay, Lawrence, you wanted to mention David Raya, Ramsdale, and Steve
Yeah.
Round and Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
Here's
Yeah.
your red crayon, Ray.
Four-way
Red
bust up.
crayon.
there.
What's all that about then?
So yeah, I was reading the other day that Steve Round left Arsenal because he told Arteta not to sign David Raya.
Mm-hmm. Because, right, Steve Round was worried about the impact it would have in the dressing room as Ramsdale being
Yeah.
such a popular player. What are your okay? Do you want our thoughts on it first?
Yeah, because it's interesting to know that
Yeah. First of all, I'm not hugely interested in the harmony in the team. If you have a talent, if you have a bigger talent that can come in David Raya and improve your team, why not try to be ruthless? We've complained about Arsenal not being ruthless enough through the years, you know.
But
We've-
how many years does he have left, Gary, on his contract?
You know what? We're talking about just the 10 months. That's it. That's all we're
Ramsdale.
talking about. Yeah, we're just talking about the 10 months. What do you mean? How much does he have left? I think he's got another year. Actually, no, we just re-signed him, didn't we? Didn't we just? We just signed Ramsdale, so he's like he's on his third year. Let's see.
Okay, the word, as BX said, the word is he strongly opposed signing David Raya and argued against it. Mikel pulled out the Infinity Gauntlet. LOL. So some of you will know what that reference means. Infinity War Gauntlet.
Stan,
I have
where's your
one.
gauntlet at?
Yeah,
Where's
you know
it
what?
at?
He's
Go,
got
go,
he's got
go grab it.
he's
Go
got 2
grab
more
it.
years on his
Go
contract.
grab
Wow,
it, Stan.
Two
I've
more.
seen it.
Go get it.
Yeah. No,
Ray
no.
Ray has
I'm gonna
it,
get a
Stan.
beer in a
Oh,
minute. I'll bring it on the way back. But anyway, just for you.
Yay!
Oh, go on, Tony. All right.
But it's not like, like we had a goalkeeper and we were bringing in like an Edison. And you're like, wow. It was kind of like we're bringing in a goalkeeper and it was kind of like this very like for like. So if Steve Round was saying, about the dressing room and it's a popular character, it's all down to the personality of Raya, right? Yeah, it's a step up for him. But he has to now walk into that dressing room knowing that maybe Ramsdale's got a lot of friends in there and he's got to win them over. It's like respect is earned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Respect is something that you earn,
Look,
right? And I think maybe by
I
now
went from
he's earned it.
confetti to balloons, right?
You've got to win people over, right? They're all used to
Yeah.
Ramsdale, the personality, but
Tony's got to win people over.
It must have been very
this
difficult
dressing room.
to have walked into that dressing room and be put in as number one. It must have been very
Yes, he
difficult.
did what Tony's doing right now in this dressing room. Look. Yeah.
I'm trying to ignore it.
We're trying. Yeah, exactly. Ray.
I mean,
Ray's like
who
that
is
kid.
this
Look,
guy?
look, 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 look. That's
I'm
Ray.
trying to do a podcast.
I heard you, Stan. I heard what you said.
No, you're not listening. You're not listening.
Lovely. Well done.
You heard something, but you're not listening.
I am listening. I heard it. No, but he did back it up by his performances then, and he won his teammates over in the dressing room, But where do we stand on some Arsenal fans, as Spencer said here? This is fuel for the Arteta out crowd. Oh, there's some discourse amongst the coach and the manager.
I hope it's more than just that one thing, because that makes no sense. I hope it's more than the one thing. That might have been the straw that made it easy to let him go. But I can't believe just the one thing is why he let go.
Lego logic, Gary. Don't forget about Lego logic.
Because if Arteta wants people who only agree with him, then he's in the wrong business.
Yeah.
Because then you never get anything. That means you'll never be considered. You never have done anything wrong and need to correct something. You know what? like this plays into the why is Havertz playing in midfield against Aston Villa in a make or break game when the trophy's on the line, when you just went through a whole Havertz season to figure out that that's not where he should play. Right, and the one time you do that in the most crucial part of the season. What are you doing?
Scary.
Like what assistant was sitting there going, "Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, coach. Let's put him in the same situation where all season, but we need to win this game because guess what? If we win this game, we control our fate." No. We're gonna go. We're taking a risk.
Yeah,
I'm so glad Gary brought that up because when I think back at the season and how much I enjoyed it, if I say what is the one thing that I'm really disappointed about, I never understood why Mikel Arteta decided to change and rotate that team and bring in Zinchenko and Jesus and change it around when we had a winning formula. I just don't understand what his thinking was and why. It's not like anybody had done anything wrong. And
think about it, those are the most crucial games of the season. That 3-game stretch.
I'll tell you what happened.
We talk about 3-game stretches, right?
Yeah.
3-game stretches.
What happened, Ray?
I'll tell you what happened.
Started with that team and then taken them off if we were winning, and then changed the game after. But that's the team. So, why?
This was in between the two Bayern Munich games, and Jesus had just come on and engineered the goal for Trossard to equalize the game at 2-2. So Jesus had done something in that Bayern Munich game, and Mikel Arteta thought it would be a good idea to go back to let's start Gabriel Jesus.
Kedia just scored a hat trick. So what do you actually turn around and go, guess what? He's our starting striker now?
Yeah, I agree.
Because that's what you're saying.
What he should have done is what he should have done, Ray, is if what you say about Jesus doing that in the Champions League game, brilliant. But then we went back to the league. He should have kept with that formula for the league.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't change it around
'Cause
later on in the game. And then
we
maybe
were-
go back to Jesus in the Champions League.
We were
I'm getting
blitzing
that.
teams. Yeah, we were blitzing teams 5-6, 3-0,
No need to make that
4-1. We
rotation.
were blitzing teams. There was
Never
no need to
understood.
do that. And he went back to the well. And that's the one thing I didn't want him to do. You know, you struggled half a season to find that Havertz was your striker.
Yeah.
No,
That
that
was
was
defining
Round.
point.
What if that was Round telling him, no, I think that's
Yeah.
you know what, let's not weaken two positions, right? Because that's what you're essentially doing, right? You're taking him out
Yeah.
of his strength and you're putting him into a weaker position. Why don't you just put
Yeah.
somebody else in that spot? Say, I don't know, Jorginho, Partey, I don't know.
And
know?
within that game as well, Gary, there was signs. Zinchenko was struggling at left back. He lost the
No,
ball.
that
at
guy
mid.
never struggles at left back.
He
What are you
was
talking
struggling
about? That
at,
never
at right
happened.
back too.
He
He
done
was
the same
caught-
thing. But Mikel done the same thing in the last game of the season, which told me that he didn't learn. When he had to take out Mega Legs, he's got to take out a left-sided centre back. But what did he do? Rather than just putting Kivior in and keeping Tomiyasu, who'd been playing good in that position, and everybody else balanced, he
Yeah.
swaps it all around. He lost one
Yeah.
player, but he effectively made two changes. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why?
So Mikel-
You've made two changes for one. It's,
yeah,
you know.
so Mikel Arteta needs to learn a few more things in this.
It's like, why is Kivior
Yeah.
on the bench then? What's the point of having him? What's the point of having him on
Yeah.
the bench as the left-footed centre back? If
Right.
you're going to go, my number one left-footed centre back can't play. No, I'm not going to play you. I'm going to swap it all around now just to right. And the Kivior's like that. Why am I here? Isn't this my time to
No.
play?
Definitely agree
You've
with.
been playing me. Hang on, you've been playing me out of position all season at left back. Now it's my time to play the position that I can play in. You're not going to play me there.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's not like he hasn't played in the big games, right?
Exactly. Makes no
He's
sense.
playing the big games for us, so and he's has the confidence in him to play him in tough games. But guess what? This was Everton.
It's times like that I want to say to Mikel Arteta, as much as I love him, mate, just fucking get over yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Make the easy decision sometimes.
Exactly.
You know, it's like one of those things where, you know what, should I take the extra touch or should I shoot it? Shoot it.
Yeah.
if the choices are shoot or pass, you shoot. Because guess what?
As Spencer said,
I wish I had $1 for every time Gary said shoot. On a
take the
walk-on.
shot. Take the shot. Yeah, Bond. I always go back to that Bond. Take the shot, Bond.
How much
Right.
money would that be, Gary?
Rich, man. You'd be rich.
Decent amount of coin. Who's to say that Steve didn't choose to leave? You were making my point, Gary. I know you aren't Arteta, and Gary's not Arteta.
Yeah.
Spencer is saying
He's
maybe
Arsenal
Steve
in.
Round.
He's Arsenal in, and he.
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
really
like
like
I said,
Eagles.
that might be the straw, but there's probably more things, you know. But you know what? For me, if the reason why he was let go is because he said no, right? He said no, Arteta, I don't like that. No, Arteta, I don't like that. No, Arteta, I don't like that.
Shouldn't you
And
be
he can back it up.
single-minded?
And he can back it up with some concrete examples of why,
Yeah.
you know what, I don't agree with this. Tell me what you're thinking, all right? Arteta's like, because I think that's the way it should be, and you're like,
I always
"That's not a good
remember.
answer."
And
I always
and I'll tell you what,
remember-
I'll tell you why Thomas Partey is going to get sold, because I guarantee you, Mikel Arteta was thinking this, like I was. You've got 2 games. You've been out all season. You're fit now. Just give me 2 games playing at your level. And he
Prove it.
couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And Mikel Arteta
Yeah.
remembers shit like that. He's like, you let me down, man. He's gone. He ain't going to get.
I
another
always
bite at the apple.
remember.
Partey's gone.
Yeah.
He's not getting another
No,
bite. He
I
had
think-
2
I
two
think
games, all he wanted. If he played good in
I
those
think
2
we-
games, I guarantee you, Mikel Arteta would
Yeah.
have think, okay, maybe we could,
the
persevere.
writings on the wall.
No. Yeah.
We can see the writings on the wall for them, Stan, for some of them. I'm reminded of Brian Clough when he was interviewed. Brian,
Right,
probably
listen,
Jimmy Hill.
Where's this going?
Maybe Jimmy Hill interviewed him, but Brian Clough said, "What?" He asked him, "What do you do when you have a disagreement with a player? When a player has a disagreement with you?" He says, "Right. Well, we go in and sit down in my office. We have a discussion about it, and then we agree that I was right." That's what Brian Clough said, right?
Yeah.
So, I think
Yeah.
as a manager, you have to be single-mindedly and dictator-like, you know.
And
And
I don't know if this is a segue, but I think this really brings us into what happened at Chelsea and why they've changed manager. Because you've got two football models, and with Chelsea, you've got a manager like a Pochettino. It's not going to work, right? Because a Pochettino is a football manager, meaning he wants to buy the players. And apparently, he went to them and said, "Look, you've paid 115 million for Caicedo. You paid 100 million or whatever it was for Enzo Fernandez, and they're nice lads and they're good players, but they ain't worth that money. You're not going to get that return." And that's not what they want to hear. So they, after a 2-day meeting, it was by mutual consent. And you look at the kind of managers that they're being linked with. You know, managers that have just come up from the previous league, Ipswich, Leicester. You know, and what they've got there is the difference is they are a management which wants a head coach to come in and say, "We are going to supply you with the tools because we believe that the money that we're investing them into the best that's out there. But you've got to work with them. Every now and again, we're going to step in and we might sell a couple. But every season, every transfer window, we'll give you some more. But we don't really want your input. We just want you to find a way to make it work with what we're giving you." Now, Arsenal are the opposite of that. Initially, when Mikel Arteta came in, and definitely Unai Emery, it was that model. Unai Emery was like a head coach. He would say, "Yeah, I want a player that can play on the left," and they buy him a player that can play on the right. They knew it was better. And Mikel Arteta now, he's telling the management what he needs.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around.
Yeah.
Him and Edu are driving the ship. They know what the players are. If they've got a player that they don't like Aubameyang or an Ozil, we need to get rid of them. Are you sure they're like marquee players? No. Okay. Well, if you say, we'll back you on that. It's a very different model. At Chelsea, it's the management team which have the vision.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm getting at? It's their vision. They're investing the money. They know what they want. They want a head coach to just train them and play the tactics. But at Arsenal, it's the other way around. The manager has the vision, and him and Edu, and the ownership are backing him. We need 100 million to buy Declan Rice. Okay, we'll do that if that's what you think that you need.
And
It's because they wanted to
the
do this
Cronkies
new
too.
Champions League format, Stan. That's
Cheers
what
to
they were
BX.
headed to.
for some mod duty there, BX. Thank you.
And what I'm
They're
saying
one
is
of
that's why
these
Chelsea
eight-
if Chelsea continue in that path, which is why they're looking for a yes man to come in and be a head coach, they're going to continue to flounder.
So, okay.
It's still insane they finished sixth with how bad they were at times. They were terrible at times.
Who are we talking about? Chelsea?
Chelsea, and they finished sixth.
Yeah.
I mean,
They surged at the end of the season. They surged a little bit. I just want to real quickly get your take on. So, did Arteta do the right thing? What if Arteta got rid of Steve Rounds? Was it the right thing to do? We don't know the circumstances behind his departure.
I don't know what Steve Rand was bringing, and I don't know much about him. I don't know what he was offering. I don't know what he was bringing. So
criticize going for David Raya when we had Ramsdale in the house already. You know?
I mean, I think you should be.
Can you not
say
disagree,
what you
but still keep your job?
Yeah,
I
probably.
think that's what it's down to.
I don't think he was fired. I don't think he was
say
fired.
to everybody else, I better not disagree with Mikel Arteta. He might be
Just
out of
because he
jobs.
disagreed with him, I don't think he was fired for that
dictatorship.
reason. Yeah, and that's the narrative. Though probably for the Arteta outers, they might want to drive that narrative as well. Okay, Chelsea. Where was Pochettino getting it right at Chelsea toward the end of the season? Looked that way, right?
He was doing something right because they went from 12th to 6th, right?
Yeah. Something like, Arteta did the same thing in the second season, didn't he?
But I think
Turned
he's
it
been
around a
dropping
little
hints. If you listen to some of his post-match interviews, he's been dropping hints for at least a month that he could be gone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So he had a 2-day meeting and he left by mutual consent. Basically, they're saying, this is how we basically want you. Same with Thomas Tuchel. This is how we want you to be. We're going to be supplying the players. Yeah, we know we're going to invest the money. We're going to bring in the players. You just got to. No, Thomas Tuchel didn't want to do that. Pochettino don't want to do that. That's why they're going to bring in someone from like an Ipswich or a Leicester or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Sort of names
See,
that
the
are
thing
being
yeah.
about. They've got the vision. The management team are basically playing football manager. Basically, you buy this. They could come in at any minute and sell Conor Gallagher to balance their books because he's homegrown, right? The manager probably doesn't want to sell Conor Gallagher, but it looks like from what Chelsea fans are saying that they reckon that they're going to sell him to do all the, you know. So they've got the vision. They will sell players and they will bring you players, but they might not be the players that you want, but they will bring you players because they believe that the players that they're going to give you are what's needed. All you've got to do is find the tactics to fit them in and be successful. It's the opposite at Arsenal, and I prefer the Arsenal model.
Exactly. I prefer it as well. BX is happy he was fired because they were starting to cook. Difficult to know, BX. We'll know next season. If they were going to continue their progress with Pochettino, I don't know, or if they're going to fall back next season with a new coach, Gary.
And I was just going to say the one thing they had. It wasn't as if they didn't go out there and get talented players. Whether or not they could play together, that was the other part to the equation. But they had talented players that on their day can actually do something with the football at their feet and stuff like that. So I kind of feel like when you start, even if you're accumulating talent, so you know all their players have been talented, right? We got Jorginho and Havertz, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think Jorginho has been, a surprise for us.
I don't think I gave him enough time.
No, but I mean that's the thing. It's like you buy all of the flashy things, but they don't fit on the car, right? You buy the best tires, but guess what? Those are stock tires for an F1. But I'm driving a Porsche. The things don't fit together. They're really good, but they don't fit, right? So. I think that's what it's
going to end up at United.
Not many things have the mono.
He thinks Poch will walk into a new job. Is just going to walk into United. I reckon that's going to happen. Guaranteed.
Okay.
With an
United,
F1,
man.
Yeah.
With an F1, you just have
For
one
what?
thing you take off and the tire pops off.
I think De Zerbi is going to go to United. Roberto De Zerbi.
Vincent Kompany going
they
to
don't have
Bayern
more
Munich.
tires fall off.
Bayern Munich. It's mad, isn't it?
How does that happen?
Harry Kane guaranteed. Hey, the legacy, the history of the Tottenham will continue.
Okay, right. Vincent Kompany brings up Burnley, right? He brings them up into the Premier League. Didn't Sean Dyche do the same thing? And didn't Sean Dyche get him to be better?
Yeah, good.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, but there's talk that Pochettino might get the England job after the Euros.
Wow.
I think that, I don't think that's going to happen. I would see. Yeah, that would. Yeah, that you might. Yeah, that they might as well just sign up for like Super.
All right.
Like that. That's what.
Somebody had
that's what's
too
going to
many
happen
drugs for that one.
There's going to be a lot of
Way
people.
too many drugs.
There's going to be a few vacancies, Gary. If Ten Hag loses at the weekend, he's done, right?
Can I just say one thing about Chelsea as well that I find extremely funny? You know, Rory Jennings. You know that guy, Rory Jennings. He's also does a bit now on Talk Sport, but he does like Chelsea podcast and all of that. And for the last few months, right, when I've listened to him on his podcast, all he has wanted is Pochettino to be fired, to be sacked. How he still has affiliations to Tottenham, and it's a disgrace, and he should be gone. The minute Pochettino left, he put out a podcast saying how it was like a disgrace that they got rid of Pochettino. It's like, make your mind up, mate. What do you want? You want the geezer gone for months, and now he's gone. It's a disgrace.
Flip-flopped. Completely flip-flopped.
They made the wrong decision. They should have given him more time.
All right.
Why did they get rid of Thomas Tuchel?
Someone who may not have time. Could be another vacancy. There could be another vacancy at Manchester United. Is Ten Hag going to survive another season?
You know what?
No.
Because if you based on that whole comment that he made, if you hire a manager for something that they've been doing for like years, and then they come in and say, "Guess what? I'm not doing that anymore." And you're like, Well, then what the world do we hire you for, right? If you're not going to do things the Ajax way, then why in the world would you keep him, right? Because like you're almost saying, look, I know how to drive, how to ride a motorcycle, but I don't do that anymore. I'm just going to go in and I'm going in the truck series, right?
Yeah.
No.
Penny
But
farthing.
we're paying you to do the motorcycles. Nah, I'm changing it up.
Yeah, but penny farthings are in this year.
I
Penny
kind
farthing.
of feel like, think about it. Like Stan, look, you're really
I know.
good at doing this stuff in acting, right? You come in, and you're like, nah, I don't do that anymore. Like, what do you mean? No, we paid you for
I'm a
this
tap
skill.
dancer now. I'm a tap dancer now. What? You what? I'm a tap dancer. So.
He's like Frank Sinatra and
Yeah.
Freddie Astaire. There you go, Freddie Astaire. And,
My biggest
Well,
criticism of Ten Hag is this, right? He's come from Ajax, and for me, it's Anthony. It's not like he put his hand in the bag and said, I want 80 million, I'm going to just put his hand in the bag and pull that out. This is a player from the team that he came from. You know, he brought him with him kind of thing, a player that he's worked with, he knows how he plays. And as Gary said, if he's like, well, I'm not going to play the Ajax way, why are you buying a player that plays the Ajax way? And Anthony's just been a disaster. So it's not like he just bought a player that he heard about. Is he really good? Oh, I'll buy him, I'll take a gamble. He knows this guy. He's trained him.
Tony.
He's worked with him, and it's been a disaster.
Ray,
He should be his best player.
I always wanted to be a tap dancer. And now,
Well,
now
Tony-
I can't do it. I can't do it now.
You can still do it. You're from where you are. You can tap
Hey,
one
Ten
foot.
Hag
Come on.
says you can still do it, and I think he sounds like a good role model for doing stuff
Tony
you
is
wanna
very
do.
quiet. Tony's very quiet about Ten Hag right now. One person who really touted Ten Hag was a great coach.
He's good with young players. They've used a lot of their
Which
young
one?
players.
Which one?
So was Rolf Harris.
See, I know somebody was going to do that dirty.
And Jimmy Savile.
So was Jimmy Savile. So was Gary Glitter. So was Gary Glitter.
See, this is where this went.
All right. Let's get this back on track.
Come on.
Hey, you know what? None of those things they don't play for Arsenal, right? Let's
Yeah,
stick to the
exactly,
Arsenal
Gary,
players.
exactly.
Leader.
So there's going to be a few managers. Going to be maybe Ten Hag. I do actually. I'm going to say this now. I do hope that they beat Man City at the weekend in the FA Cup final. I do hope that does happen.
Would that mean
They should have just kept
a
Ollie,
better season
right?
than us?
No.
Question to Lawrence, right? Lawrence, something that you said at the beginning of the show about trophies. If Man United beat Man City and win the FA Cup, in your eyes, would they have had a better season than Arsenal?
Oh, God.
Because you said about
because
trophies,
they've
right?
won a trophy.
So has
you
Liverpool had a better
it is
season
what it
than
is.
us? Has Liverpool had a better?
They won it.
Did Liverpool win the Caribbean Cup? So
Caribbean
they're not
Cup.
in Europe. They're not in Europe. But
You've
they've
got
won
to
the
look at
Caribbean
it
Cup.
like that.
So, in your eyes, do you think they've had a better season, Liverpool? And
What,
Man
Liverpool?
United?
Yeah, definitely.
And Man United. Okay, interesting. Just because they both won cups.
How did we feel?
Yeah.
All right,
'Cause
Stan.
People in the Chris, hang on. People in the chat box, can you also answer this, please?
Right.
Because
And
Man
how
United,
did we-
if they win the FA Cup, even though they've had a shit season football-wise, but if they win the FA Cup, chat box, do you think they've had a better season? And Liverpool winning the Caribou Cup, even though they trailed off for getting into the title race, have they had a better season? Is it about cups to you?
All right.
That's an interesting question, right?
Yeah.
Gary, what do you reckon?
Well, let me
Say
ask you a question, Stan.
Let me.
Can I ask you a
Let's
question, Stan?
Can we answer
Hold
the
on.
first one
Hold on.
first? Let's answer the first one first.
Yeah, let's do the first one first.
And then
Hold on to that,
Park it.
Lawrence. Hold on to that.
park it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
All right, Stan. Here's what I would say is, how did you feel when Arsenal beat Chelsea in the FA Cup final? The last two FA Cup finals. But we were behind Tottenham in the league. How did you feel about that? When
Really
they
good.
were better than us in the league
Yeah,
and getting
really good.
Champions League football, we weren't.
You know, it was we won something, right? So
We
it's good.
salvaged our season with a trophy. So I'm not answering the question, but I actually believe to be consistent in the Premier League, for 38 games, you've had a much better season than being consistent for 4 or 5 games.
Let me answer the question first before everybody else goes around. I think, because I asked a question, when I think about it, I actually think that if Man United do win the FA Cup, because I do think of the FA Cup as being quite prestigious still.
Yeah.
I do, even though it doesn't get what it used to get when I was younger. If Man United do win the FA Cup, I would have to probably take my Arsenal hat off, say that maybe they've had a better season because they won the FA Cup. But the Carabao Cup with Liverpool, no. What we've done this season, but the FA Cup to me still means something.
Right.
I'm
The
torn.
weight.
I'm torn because you had a great season and we took Man City toe to toe. But if Man, I don't think they will. But if they do, they've won the FA Cup, right?
And look, it is.
We're not in the
about
final. We're not in the
trophies.
final, are we? We're not going up against City this season for it. We're not there.
Yeah. It is about trophies as well, because you got City accounts putting up their trophies in the Premier League era, and they're just capturing the Premier League era, and they're right behind Arsenal, but it's not the Premier League era. It's the 130 years that we've both been in existence. You know what I mean? So to be adding trophies every year is very important, to add to that 49 trophies that we've won, to maintain the third best team in the land in the history of the league, is important. That's why I'm hoping as we come into this 3 to 5 year cycle, we're going to pick up trophies under Mikel Arteta. We're going to win the leagues. We're going to win cups. I want to be looking at 5 or 6 trophies when Arteta leaves, or whatever whatever happens in the next 5 years. People like Bukayo Saka being rewarded for staying at Arsenal. Anyway, I digress. I think I've kind of answered the question. I don't know if I have or not, but who else do you need to answer, Gary?
No, I think it's a better season when you win a trophy, because that's what we've been saying. Look, we failed in the Champions League. We failed in the Premier League. What we needed was a trophy. That's what we said. Everybody said it. So if you say that, then it's a failure. Like it's not a good season if you didn't win something. Especially like if you're able to compete and get deep in the Champions League, compete and get deep into the end of the season to win a Premier League, and you're telling me, guess what? You're not good enough to go deep in the Carabao Cup. You're not good enough to go deep in the FA Cup, right? Yeah. And the way that we went out the FA Cup and the way we've gone out a lot of these cups has been with a whimper. I mean, come on. Yeah. We've lost to West Ham. We've lost to a Liverpool side who actually decided they didn't want it anymore. They said, guess what? We're pulling our starters. We're putting our kids on.
They went to Old Trafford, didn't they?
Yeah. So it's a softer blow if Man City win it then.
Yeah.
That I don't like that narrative,
Okay, can I ask my question now?
Yeah.
Okay. This is aimed at Stan, but you can all answer. Okay. It's 2034, 10 years ahead of time.
All right.
If someone came up to you and said, who was the team that finished second behind Manchester City? Is anyone going to remember that?
I hope they don't remember that. You know what? The fact that it's Arsenal, they're going to remember. When City won the quad, who was the team watching from the stands? That's what they're going to ask.
But how many people actually remember the team that finished runners up?
They hate us,
Lawrence. I know what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
If they were asking me, I'd remember, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Like everybody thinks Liverpool came second to City for the last 9 years. That's not the case. Liverpool didn't come second to City for the last 9 years. They did it twice. They beat them once. That's Klopp's era. You're on mute. Somehow, some way.
Oh.
Tony's trying to talk. Look,
I like
Stephen.
it like that.
Stephen, we made a huge mistake prioritizing Champions League over the domestic cups. Those are the stepping stones that teams learn.
You know what?
Exactly.
I don't.
That's a tough one. Champions League.
I don't. I don't. I don't. What I
You don't.
it's hard to answer that question because I kind of feel
Yeah.
like,
But
yes,
what?
yes, he did that, but also Arteta also doesn't, for me, get it that you don't know what trophy you get to win this season.
Mm.
That's why you have to fight for all of them. You don't get you don't get a choice of which ones you want, but you get 4 chances. And
Okay.
guess what? As a squad, they need to see you cross the line, and that's I've been saying that about Arteta. Every time he has a challenge and a line he needs to cross first, he
Yeah.
always falls down and then gets up. He always gets back up and does better the next time. He's gonna have to cross that line, right, and get there first, right? And he doesn't do that. Like I think our team's deep enough and should be able to compete in the Carabao Cup and FA Cup, even with the bench we had. But I don't think he sets his team up that way.
Yeah.
So for me, that's
Yeah.
where I think
I mean,
that's where I think he drops the ball because there's talent in all the players we've got. He never wants to, tap that particular resource and get the best out of that
So-
particular player at that particular time. Like Nelson was hungry to play football. We saw it every time he came on. Guess what Arteta did? He just killed it. Just killed it. Right? Just killed it. The
And-
kid never
and
got
this
back
is-
on again. And then guess what? The hunger to play football, gone.
The worry in Tony's eyes right there.
And this is what separates George Graham from Mikel Arteta, because when George Graham was in charge, every game, no matter what it was like a cup final. He always
Right.
fielded the strongest team. There was none of, well, it's the Carabao Cup, let's put the kids in. No matter what the competition was, whether it was the Makita, the Mercantile, Community Shield,
I
no
remember
matter
those.
what
I
it
remember
was,
those.
George
I
Graham
remember those.
put out the strongest team.
Yeah.
The Makita
I
Cup.
remember the Keita tournament and the Mercantile. Paul Merson came to prominence in those tournaments. Stan, you got to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Stan's
my
gotta
dinner's
go.
ready. So nice
All
talking
right,
to
so
you
we'll
guys.
finish,
Yeah,
we'll
good
finish
talking
up
to you.
here with 10 or 15 minutes more and we'll get out of here. Thanks, Stan.
Stan's
I'll see
ready
you
to
on
go have a
Sunday.
kebab.
Yeah,
All right,
Sunday
Stan's
it
gonna
is.
go have a kebab.
All right, so Gary, what you were talking about resonates with me because I talked about Jurgen Klopp versus Pep. It has been a rivalry for 8 or 9 seasons. It's not necessarily been in the league, but they have crossed swords in cup competitions. I believe where Pep has not won a competition, Liverpool and Jurgen have been able to do it by and large. So
But one of them cost them the title, right? They could have won the title if they didn't.
I know, but that's kind of the question I'm asking.
Then they put it
we are
on
going
cruise control.
We are going to have to do this and try to win cups as well, and try to
That's the
sustain
problem.
Premier
It's not
League.
just win
Eh,
cups.
eh,
It's we have
the-
to set the team up to win everything
Hmm.
because you
How
don't
is
get
that gonna-
because think about it. You're not guaranteed anything, right? So
Yeah.
you have to try. Like it's like when you're trying to shoot something down and you just spray all across it. You think you might get it.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do.
Yeah.
We like you're saying, we have a strong team. Play the strong team, and then the reason why you have depth is so you can rotate certain players in and out of the lineup.
Keep them fresh.
Like Saka doesn't have to play every game.
Yeah.
And you can still win games, right? Erdogan, we don't have a backup for him, but we need to figure out a way to play without him so he can get some rest and we can still compete. Like
There's
Arteta
a-
needs to figure that out.
Well, we do have players, Gary, just going to look different, right? We have Emile Smith Rowe, we have Fabio Vieira. If we don't have Erdegaard, maybe we have Trossard, maybe we have Havertz playing there. It's just going to look different, and the Arsenal fan base have to understand that things won't look as good as it has been with our first when we deviate from our first 11. But to your point, Gary, we do have to start spraying the sauce everywhere, the bullets everywhere, whatever it is, you know, and attack on all fronts. And it starts obviously with getting rid of some of the players we mentioned tonight that are
Yeah,
not.
but-
We want to sell them and bring
But-
it in better.
But Ray, what we've been doing on the cups is we start 5 starters, then we sub in the other 5 starters. We got all 10 of them out there, minus a goalkeeper.
Yeah, but
change.
that's not even that's the problem. Isn't the 5 and 5 is that the 5 that he's bringing in have never played in like a week or two.
Or
So,
been good
so
enough.
you're just
Yeah.
you're not helping them because you basically
But
just weakened
that's
your.
Arteta's fault. That's Arteta's
Yeah, no,
fault.
definitely, it's definitely the way he manages his teams across all of the competitions for sure. Yeah, but like he needs to play to win every game, which means I need to put the best team. Like he's putting, like you said, he's pulling 5 players in and out of the lineup. It's got to be the right 5, right? It's got to be the right 5 that helps
Yeah.
the other 5 that come in
Yeah.
that haven't either
And
played for a bit. You know,
we talked earlier, Gary and Tony and Lawrence. We talked earlier about the minutes that some of these squad players got. 300 minutes, 200 and some minutes for another player, less than 200 minutes. That's across a full season. That's unthinkable to say that a
these are
player
players you
got-
didn't want to sell, and these are players that you re-signed. So what's going on here? You know,
and players you didn't give minutes to. If you have them on the squad, you're paying them, and you're paying them not to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Colonel said, "No, Gary, that was a brilliant analogy by Stones. Tony, just appreciate the statistics."
No,
Got it.
Tony's
Got it.
just going off the he's going off the path. That's the reason why
No, I'm
trying to
not.
bring him back.
No, I'm not going off the path.
You
Uh,
Tony, you live off the path, buddy. I'm trying to get you to stay on the path with us.
Stay on the right path, Tony. Listen to Gary, okay?
Yes, listen to me.
You're just a bad listener, Tony.
I'm not sure if Gary should be my prophet or not.
Dude, you
You're a
need
bad listener. But look, this all comes down to again what we do in this summer. We have players again who we need to move on. We need to start getting some real money for them, and we do have some money that we can spend on these players, and we have to approach it where we don't devote all of our energy to the league race. Unfortunately. But we have to be able to win games with more control and less energy. You know, we need to make some games mundane, boring, and an easy 3 points. You know what I mean? I think from last season to this season, we have done that to a great extent. We've had more control. All of the stats say we've had, you know, more of this and less of that, and more of the good stuff and less of the bad stuff, which is a good thing. We're trending in the right direction, and it's going to be important who we target in the next.
We need Arteta to trust all 25 players.
Yeah, yep. You know what else Pep has said? He took notice of what Arsenal did, Pep Guardiola. And, you know, that's probably something we can hang on to this summer. That Man City now know that they need to go again. They need to reinvest again. We're pushing them on the field and off the field. And hopefully the lawyers are pushing them in the courts in October. And we'll see what happens there. But I think we had a good chat. We should wind it up right about here. Anything else you got to say, Lawrence?
I'll be right back, Ray.
Yeah, well, I've got my ticket for the friendly against Manchester United out here.
Yep.
At the end of July,
Yep.
$330.
Yep.
And it's pretty appropriate because I don't know if you've been watching the news, but Ticketmaster are being sued by the US government for price gouging.
All right. That's a lot.
You know, You know,
130.
because like $330. You know, where anywhere else in the world the ticket for that game would cost maybe $100.
We're gonna.
So
I hope that some of the bigger players are going out there. I hope you're going to see
Yeah.
some of the bigger players. But with the Euros
well, I hope so.
coming up, I don't know what kind of holidays they're going to have after the Euros. If England goes deep, in the competition, will they join up
Yeah,
late? We're going to have a situation at the beginning of the season. I think it's something like 90 days. We're 90 days or 89 days away from the beginning of the season again. August 17th, I think it is. All right. What is that?
That's how long Lawrence has to wait for the game.
64 days.
yeah.
64 days. So a little over 2 months.
64 days,
Yeah.
20 hours, and 44 minutes.
We are asking, there is a lot asked of professional footballers,
Yeah.
Arsenal players who play a long season for Arsenal, for their club. Going to play 2 extra games, Tony, in the Champions League.
Yep, 2 extra.
I don't know where
That's a lot of money.
it's going to result in injuries, Gary. It's going to result in some injuries
Oh,
to some players.
Yeah, for me, there's injuries, but then there's also players wearing down.
Yeah.
Which could create injuries, but also could create just poor performances. So that's where, like, we hit on all 4 of the players we brought in this window. We need to hit on at least the 4 that we bring in. At least 4. Hopefully, we're bringing in more than 4 players. If Ethan and Wary is going to come and play, give him. He needs to come in and get some significant time, right?
He's still young though. Right?
Timber does. He's still young, but you know what? Young is just a number, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if he's good enough to play football for Arsenal, he's good enough to play football for Arsenal. The number on the license and on the birth certificate means nothing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't know what like he's killing it in the league he's in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He just scored a goal, didn't he, for England?
Yeah. He just sort of like. And then it's Skelly, I think it is like the captain for the other team. I mean, these Arsenal players are competing on the in an international level, and they're starring and they're leading their teams there. But yet we can't get one player since Arteta's come out of the academy and get minutes for us or some minutes.
Do you think that's the next evolution, Gary, Tony, Lawrence? The next evolution is. Okay, say we get 6 players go out, we bring 4 in, we take 2 academy players, fold them into the first team, and then we start mechanizing our academy to churn more and more players out in the next 4 to 5 years.
But to me, you have to get 2 or 3 world-class players. Then you just got to get a couple of squad players. Then you got to integrate about 3 players.
And I think
that's
we
how
would all
get
be
your 8, because there'll be about 8 players leaving probably.
We would all be happy, Tony, if we got a very good, high-quality backup to Gabriel or Saliba. I think we'd be happy with that to build our bench up as well as. I don't think we're going to get 4 players that are going to start for us next season.
Is it Kivior good enough to fill one of those spots?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
It's that fucking Rob Holding.
No, but we need, like I said, we need to take our base, which is whatever our 12, 13 players that we have, and get another 3 to 5 players. And if that means
you're down to that many players, Gary? What happened to your 8 players?
8 players? No, what do you mean 8 players?
He's just being realistic now.
No, we have legitimate 11 starters on our squad, right?
Yeah, but remember the squad's 25 players deep.
Yeah, but no team plays all 25, so we know that. But the problem is that Saliba,
Think of the players,
Saliba,
Gary.
Margules,
Hmm.
Erdegaard, Saka, Rice
Hmm.
shouldn't have to play upwards of 35, 36 games
Yeah.
a season. That's
Here's-
the problem.
Here's the players.
You
But
had
Tony-
all these academy kids, and they never came out.
But Tony,
They're always on the reserve squad. But you only
Tony,
got like
here's the
3
players. Here's the players who could play, who could be second choice for us. Kivior, arguably Timber or Tamiyasu, Jorginho, maybe even Emil Smith Rowe, Martinelli.
Oh, you're doing some drugs there, Ray.
Which ones?
Uh,
Emil Smith
Smith
Rowe.
Rowe.
But you got Martinelli, you got the likes of Kivior, you got the likes of Jorginho. You know, these are all players who could come in. So we're up to 16, 17 players, you know. All right.
We need
Lawrence, you
better
gotta go?
quality, Ray.
Lawrence is
Yeah,
leaving us.
sorry, mate.
All right.
Okay, I'll see you guys Sunday.
We're wrapping up
See ya,
anyway.
bye.
See you Sunday, Lawrence. Okay.
All right, see you.
Mhm.
Take care. All right. So that's it. What do you got, Tony?
Oh, Steve Owens, Dr. Left.
Wrong show.
Get your
It's the wrong show. You don't have any of your friends around you now anymore. You're exposed.
I don't know what that is.
Come on, Ray. I've been on the internet for 6 hours and 21 minutes straight.
Nobody should be doing that continuously. Did you not eat in between shows?
I ate before Nelson.
Well, you should get something to eat now.
I'll need a meal afterwards because I had like a late lunch, but I timed it where I ate for about the first 3-4 minutes of the show, and then
All right. It's time to say our goodbyes. Tony, say your goodbye.
goodbye, everybody.
All right.
And hello to the people that are just watching this.
Yeah.
On delay.
As the sun is coming up in Australia or wherever the sun's coming up right now. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure how many Australian fans we have. Right
We have an FA Cup final, I think, is it on Saturday? We have the Leeds United hopefuls on Sunday. So hopefully when we have the show on Sunday, Leeds United will be a Premier League team. We do hope that's for Tom.
So when you lived in Ireland, Ray, did you do the bank holiday, or is that just in England?
Did I do which bank holiday?
The one that's coming up the same day as Memorial Day.
Yeah. We did.
What was it called? This bank holiday? Is that
yeah,
just what you call
Monday bank holiday, yeah.
it? That's crazy.
I don't know. You'd have to check the calendar. I'm not actually sure.
We're doing the American holiday. Just put that on there.
Monday, Memorial Day Monday. Gary may have to do something there. I'm not sure. Are you, Gary?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I know. Might have
Didn't
to
think about this yet?
Might have to push it out to Tuesday, maybe, because it is a holiday. You're right.
Come on, it can be with Tony and Tom show, Gary.
It's the little one's birthday too, so that weekend. So
On Monday.
What day? I don't know which day it is, but
Tom, Tony, and Spencer can have.
Well, actually,
handle it,
it's
Gary.
not this weekend, Gary. It's next weekend. So Tony's getting me confused here, talking about Memorial Day when it's not even Memorial Day. Is it this week? It is this weekend.
no, it's Monday.
You're right.
Monday.
He's right.
It's this
You're right,
weekend.
actually, Tony.
Tony's
Gary,
right
do
once
the-
Of
again.
course I am, Ray.
Well, you are
You
doing a
might-
show on Saturday, Gary, right?
Yeah.
Come on, Gary. Me, Tom, and Spencer can handle the Monday.
True. Well, Spencer
there you
does holidays as well, Tony. So I didn't see him. He didn't do a show this weekend because it was holidays and birthdays.
It's so
so.
weird how it's supposed to be Memorial Day, but hardly anybody goes to the cemetery or any of that stuff now.
Yeah.
It's just
My daughter always
It-
is in the Memorial
it's
Day
just for
parade.
first day.
So
Mhm.
It's the first day of summer party, and Labor Day is the last day of summer.
Yeah, and people,
Party.
you're right, Tony. People do miss the significance of things sometimes. You just
It-
see a
it's
day
totally
off.
missed though. Isn't it the first day of summer and the last day of summer?
Yeah, well, I think
Memorial Day and Labor Day.
I think some of that could be, in work you're maybe expected to do a little bit more than you used to. Everybody's expected to do a little bit more, so you're more thankful for a day off rather than being thankful for the day that you're celebrating. You know what I mean? So that's just my take on it. Anyway, thanks to Stan, thanks to Lawrence for joining, Tony joining late, and we stopped you. We stopped you going into history lessons. I'm very happy that Gary did that. He stopped you at the
But you
gate.
still gotta look at the past to see the patterns.
No, not. It all depends on what the agenda is, Tony.
There is some truth. There is a little truth to it, and maybe Manchester United, maybe Chelsea, teams who have not done well this season, are looking at what Arsenal have done.
But
I would
but
be
do-
flabbergasted if Chelsea go with a young coach
do-
and
do-
build from there.
do you think they?
You got 5 seconds, Tony.
I'm just saying. Do you think I should have gave more time for the coach?
Ooh, this is Chelsea. They got the, what do you call them? BDS. They got BDS.
Big dick swingers, right?
You always want teams
Gary
to do
Bush.
that.
They've been
Gary-
swinging. They've been swinging, Tony, but not hitting much. You know what I mean?
Did you see what Gary did there? He smiled and blushed at the same time.
All right, Gary, thanks for joining. Say good night, Tony. We're out of
Good
here.
Good night,
Night,
Tony.
Tony.
We're out of here.
We're
All right.
out of here.
Pep, remember, Pep knows Arsenal. We are here. We're
Yeah.
coming for you, Man City. But
I wish
Man
we could
City,
be saying
Man City are making us wait. Not so much Arsenal. Maybe a bit Arsenal, but Man City are making us wait.
I wish we already signed a player, right?
Hey, I think that'll happen very quickly,
We
Tony.
can't. I'm officially anyway, so
Till what, June?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Window.
I think the news is we have traditionally done this very, very quick business, and the Euros are coming up very quick. I think the 12th of June, so it's going to happen fast. I think,
But the
right.
problem is that they're only bringing in like 4 when we need more. Yeah,
We need
that's
more.
fine.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Tony, go get something to eat. Take care of yourself. Gary, thanks. We'll see you.
Thanks for everybody in the chat.
Come on,
Thanks for
goodies.
joining us.
We are here.